DillCast episode. Shit, I never look it up. What are we on? Episode 5?
4 or 5, I think.
I think we're on episode 5.
Well, think about it. The only guests we've had we had Jake and we had Michael and we had Noah.
Michael.
So now, I didn't mean Michael. I meant
Noah.
Simon?
No. Why am I thinking there was someone different? No, I guess just because it's
Simon?
Alex.
Simon was here.
Oh, Simon was on one, but was Alex? Were you on that one, Alex?
Alex was on that
Yeah,
one
but-
too.
This is my third one.
This is your third, but were
So
you
that
on with
means-
anyone else?
That means this is the 5th.
No,
That means this
I
is
was on with the three of us. This is the second three of us, and then there was with Simon.
this is episode 5. The DillCast strikes back.
Yeah. That's a good. That means it's going to be the best episode.
That's the best episode.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, it's Friday, October 16th. We're well into Spooktown now, and I've been celebrating very poorly. I've only played Resident Evil once. That's the only thing I've done to celebrate spooks. What about you, Alex?
We've watched a few movies, though they're slipping my mind now. I should rewatch Gremlins.
Gremlins is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I was about to say I always consider Gremlins
It
to be a
goes for the
Christmas film.
aesthetic. I know it's at that time, but it gets the aesthetic.
Aesthetically, it is a Christmas movie.
Whatever. You know what I mean with the Gremlins. I don't care. I'm not going to argue this.
Austin, since Alex has apparently failed at celebrating, how have you been making up for both of us?
Alex, what else have you watched, though?
I'll have to remember. We haven't watched Nightmare yet. That can be either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. See, no. I am of the opinion that movie is a perfect Thanksgiving movie because it's
Perfect Thanksgiving.
right in between.
Yeah.
But you can,
Yeah.
to me, it's also just a year round whenever you want.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
whenever
I was
Disney
gonna
puts
watch-
up the decorations at the Haunted Mansion. It's whenever that is up.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah, I
legally
think
you
that's
can
like
legally
September.
watch Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. We watched clothes. I don't remember what they were. I started watching Ratchet, and then I fell off after like 3 episodes.
Ratchet.
Oh, is that because it's a Ryan Murphy show?
According to you, yes, as far as what you told me. But like, it just kind of, I don't know.
Wait, what is Ratchet? Ratchet and Clank?
No.
No, it's a show on Netflix about Nurse Ratchet.
Oh,
from
Nurse
One Flew Over
Ratchet.
the Cuckoo's Nest.
Okay. I saw an ad for
Yeah.
that. Yes, I'm familiar. Yes.
Yeah, and like it looked like it could be interesting, but yeah, a few episodes in, it was like, okay,
I was actually reading
I'm
about
fucking-
lobotomies this month, so does that count for spook? Like, just reading up on,
No.
like, why not? Lobotomies are fucking fucked up and scary.
Yeah, but they happen all year round.
That's true. But I feel like the spookiest lobotomies happened because if you drill a hole into somebody's head and suck out their brains, you know what that means? That means you're leaving room for a ghost to haunt.
Yeah, but
your
lobotomies
brain.
aren't sucking out people's brains necessarily. Oh, well, sorry. When you said that, actually, I was picturing like someone literally putting their mouth
some
against,
mind flayer, like
or yeah, using a straw, like Starship Troopers,
Uh,
or
That is not how I imagine a lobotomy to be, but I don't know. I was reading about JFK's sister and how fucked up that was. You ever heard about this?
no, did they lobotomize?
Yeah,
her?
they did. She was like 20 something, and then she literally spent the rest of her life in some cabin in like Montana or something because the family literally disowned her for like 25 years because they're like, oh, we can't. No, it was fucked up. Like it was like really, really fucked up.
jeez.
And
Rosemary Kennedy.
I think that's her name. Yeah, she's
Lobotomy.
yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck?
yeah. She was like, I think she
It's my
had.
favorite video game, by the way.
She was like irritable, and then they were like, "Oh, let's give her a lobotomy," and then they fucking
Jeez.
like fucked her up beyond recognition.
Hold on. Irritable. This says she would experience convulsions and fly into violent rages in which she would hit and injure others.
Okay, that I don't know. I don't think I read that.
It's written by the deep state pro Kennedys to make her
Yes.
look.
Yeah, that's not a trustworthy. That's a Shriver re-edit.
Sounds like they described her as being increasingly irritable and difficult. So, but she was 22 years old. What would you expect?
I know exactly.
23 years old. The doctors told her father that a lobotomy would help calm her mood swings and stop her occasional violent outbursts.
Yeah,
I mean, she could have just flat out been bipolar, and they were just like, "Oh,
Holy
lobotomy, here we
shit.
go."
He decided that they should lobotomize her, but didn't tell his wife about the decision until
Yep.
after the procedure was completed.
Oh my god.
it's fucked
Oh
up.
my god.
Freaking like 1950s or 60s,
Who
or
was-
whatever it was.
I gotta read more about this later. That's insane.
Yeah, I was.
Which one? This is
Video games.
President Kennedy's daughter.
Yes. No. Sister.
Okay.
Yeah, and that led me to
Jesus.
another hole about like the Shriver family and about the Kennedy family and like the Schwarzenegger family. Now, I didn't know that Chris Pratt was married to a Schwarzenegger. Did you guys know that?
I did know that.
I didn't know
No.
that. So that basically Chris Pratt is now American royalty by extension.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's insane. All right, because she is the daughter of Maria Shriver, and then Maria Shriver is obviously Maria Shriver, who's
Yeah.
Kennedy connection. Man, it's crazy. Right. Anyways, video games. Alex,
Yeah.
what video games have you played?
The one I've played the most recently has been Star Wars Squadrons.
Me too.
Hey, me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, imagine that. And yet we still haven't played together.
I know. Well, I played well, I don't mean to interject, Alex, but
No, you're good.
I played single player for about a couple hours, and I got maybe 2 missions in, and holy shit, I've never seen a game bug out like this in my life. Like I've had bugs in games where you like clip through a wall or oh, game over, you got killed accidentally, but I literally could not trigger the first mission for like 45 minutes.
Oh, I didn't have any of this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've had
and-
no issues.
I looked it up, and other people were saying it was like, oh, you have to run as administrator when you boot up the program, or you have to do this and you have to do that.
Oh, you
And-
know what my problem was? Mine kept opening way too big for my screen, and there's no way to fix it other than changing the entire like app ratio or whatever.
Like
The
the
display.
aspect ratio for your actual computer and not the game itself.
Yeah, I can't do it for the game itself, which is annoying because I have to change the whole computer every time. And I'm sure it's because I use although I don't know, because I use my my TV as my monitor, so it's huge.
Yeah.
But the game opens even bigger. Like I see like a
Jesus.
section of the screen.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to pretend to be like a master of like aspect ratios and stuff, but I mean, I kind of get similar issues because I have 3 monitors in front of me right now, because it's like, oh, you open up a game and then it like will randomly decide that it's windowed or not windowed, and then it like takes up 3 windows of my monitors, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh god. But yeah, it was super freaking buggy, and I eventually solved the problem, which is the stupidest solution on the planet, which is always just turn it off and turn it on again. So I exited, turned off my computer, turned it back on, and then the cutscene triggered like it was supposed to. But it was just so weird. Like
Yeah,
it's
strange.
it's not like it was like a random late mission thing. It was the first mission in the game,
Yeah.
and it was kind of like a buzzkill, because I mean, I'm not joking when I like futzed around with it for like 45 minutes straight trying to fix it.
Annoying.
Yeah, and then I
Yeah.
decided to jump into multiplayer because I couldn't get single player to work, and I obviously only did it by myself. But I noticed something weird, and you guys, I don't know if you've played multiplayer yet, but
I've only done the tutorial. I've
yeah.
been focused on story.
so they have a couple different modes, right? And the first mode you get is this mode called Dogfight, I think.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I need to go in again, but if I'm not mistaken, you don't unlock the other modes unless you're playing ranked mode, which seems stupid, because
Yeah.
I want to be able to play whatever the hell I want at whatever difficulty I want, even if it is a multiplayer game. Like unranked and ranked, I feel like you should be able to do the exact same that ranked is.
Yeah, as long as you've played.
Yeah, and I need to confirm that, but because I was really excited because I wanted to, pick up like a bomber and like go down to like a capital ship and start like blowing it up.
Mhm.
But then I was stuck with Dogfight, and I was having fun with it. But again, all of Dogfight is just shooting other like single
Fighters,
flighted
yeah.
ships, So all I was doing was just shooting people over and over with the TIE Interceptor and the A-wing, because those are the best fucking ships in the game, Because why would you choose,
Yeah.
if you're doing a dogfight, why would you choose any other ship? Like, it literally doesn't make sense. Yeah, because I mean, that's my opinion of it. But I think I need to confirm if those multiplayer modes are locked behind that ranked mode. But besides that, it was fun. It was fun flying around.
Yeah, I like the story mode. The missions are, I mean, it's dogfights and bombing runs and stuff, but they do vary it up enough. It's cool. The interludes, like between the actual fighting, are very clunky. They're clearly made for VR.
Oh, you're
And
talking
if you're
about the
not in VR
cutscenes, like where you're
Yeah,
talking to
'cause, like,
people.
That's why it's like you're not ever actually focused in on someone,
Yeah.
right? Like it doesn't lock your perspective. You can hit your mouse or something, and you can look anywhere you want. It's clearly a thing for VR, because otherwise, why would it matter?
Yeah.
Same with like why it then takes you to like way up close to them.
Yeah. It seems weird to
Um,
me that those sections aren't in third person, considering the game has customization of your character.
Right.
Because when the hell...
Customization is very weird in that game.
Yeah, it is.
Like it's very weird that it's like, here's 10 options of people in a world where most games are like, make it look like whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, there is further customization
but
outside of
I saw
campaign.
like 3 or 4 aliens like you could choose from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And not for the Imperials, only for the Rebels.
yeah, but I think they were locked for me for some reason.
No, they were. You have to unlock them.
Okay.
Which just,
So,
I mean, honestly, who fucking cares? Just give them to me, man. Like,
Fucking stupid that I can't play as like other races, but I got it. Like Star Wars in general, under the Disney banner at least, this is gonna sound stupid when I say it, but it has like a weird diversity issue. And I don't mean in like the actors they choose as much as like showing us the actual world of Star Wars.
Mhm.
Like the fact that the movies don't have any like Twi'lek main characters or anything is very weird.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
We rarely see any, and I have talked to you guys about this before, but like we rarely see any alien species we recognize. They're always new.
Yeah.
And I think it's annoying, and it's very odd to not have main characters that are aliens to me.
Yeah, Mandalorian has some, not mains, but there are some aliens around.
Is better, but I mean, everything Dave Filoni's been involved with,
Yeah,
at it, if not good.
in Squadrons, like there's a Trandoshan.
Oh yeah, no,
You see them
your
around.
main team has like a bunch of aliens.
Yeah,
There's an
they're
alien I'd
almost
never
all
seen
aliens.
before. Who's the red
But-
the red lady? I don't know who she is.
Yeah, her
Gunny.
name's Gunny.
What's, I don't know what
she's
she is.
she's the squadron leader.
Yeah.
She says her planet, but I don't remember what it is because it's not like one we know.
I'm from
Uh,
Gweesblotch. I'm a poodle
but
from
yeah,
Gweesblotch.
in the like movies and main stuff, also I fully agree. Like there seems to be fewer aliens around.
I think they're so focused on the diversity of like our real world, which is not a bad thing, but I feel like they're almost afraid to like throw someone in a crazy makeup, because then the comment will be, oh, you cast this person, but you just put them under all this makeup. And it's like, well, but it's still a Star Wars
Or
movie.
we'll get into like, why aren't we seeing alien diversity? Why is there only one, like 3 colors of Twi'leks? Like,
Well, okay. That, no.
why do they have ear covers? Why don't we ever see their ears? The answer is in the OGs you do, but in the new shows they always have something over their ears.
Their ears are Twi'leks, right? They're too sexy.
Yeah.
You know, you can't show their ears.
Because
already got their
Aayla
tentacles.
Secura and Hera always have things over their ears.
Yeah.
But if you go back and look at like,
So does
the
what's her
OGs.
name? The ones in Mandalorian.
Yeah, they do.
I think I know a spoiler about a character in Squadrons that I don't want to talk about, but I
know
think oh, you do. Okay. Well, anyways, I think that there is a character in that game that may answer that alien diversity question for you, Alex. But I don't know.
Yeah, I know who it is.
It's
I was hyped.
I mean, you know what it is I frankly don't care. Like, I don't care if you like how detailed the customization is. I mostly care just like that's like it's just like 8 guys and that's it. Like Austin was saying, like it's mostly just like, wait, this is all I get. Like if you had all this time to like, okay, here's what it is. You play games these days, and this is the harsh reality of how multiplayer games work these days, is that you play games to unlock custom, like, you know, character creation content. Like that's just how it is, right?
Mhm.
And I was scrolling through all of the custom whatever, you know, thingy you unlock in your TIE fighter window or some sort of like hologram or
Right.
whatever. And there's like 5 things
Yeah,
total.
there's not many.
You know, and it's like it's kind of bare, you know. And granted, this game was only $40, so it is like a little bit like that. But Overwatch is only $40.
Yeah.
Like,
You know, it had worse customization stuff, and like I don't usually care that much about customization, but in Fallen Order, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
fact that it was a bunch of
Yeah.
different colored ponchos was weird. I was
Yeah.
like, what if I don't wear a fucking poncho? Like I don't like the poncho.
I know.
Yeah, the customization was really weird.
Like
Yeah.
I would never choose this.
And then you could do all this shit to your lightsaber and you couldn't even see it besides the blade and like the very tail of the hill.
and the ship that you like walk away from.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you change the color of it and that's it. Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
that whatever sequel to that game has, I do like that game. I think it's fun, but what I think that game lacked was meaningful rewards at the end of your exploration. Like, you know how there's like a
Yeah.
little room that you go off to and then you're like, oh, I found like a health upgrade and that's it, right? There's nothing else. Like, okay, put a fucking like force lightning ability at the end of this room, you know, like, oh, I fucking climbed this giant thing and I earned this, you know, and some Joe Schmo didn't get that, you know.
Did you watch the girlfriend review video I sent you?
Of this Fallen Order one.
Yeah.
I've seen it, but I didn't watch it when you sent it, so I'm not sure if I
Because
remember.
she talks about that, about how she's like, it's like if you took Metroid Prime and like instead of all the good things you find, you
Yeah.
just put like oh my god, what's the word I'm looking for? I mean customization stuff, like I am
Like a
blanking.
new outfit.
Yeah, exactly, a new outfit. And that's the thing, is in Fallen Order, not only do you just find a new outfit, they're all lame because they're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
variations of the poncho.
And they're just
But-
like color schemes. Yeah.
Yeah, but the other thing about that girlfriend review video is it opens talking about like the history of Star Wars video games and stuff, and then they start, and I guess a lot of people feel this way, and I didn't realize it till I watched that video the other night. Was they were saying like Fallen Order didn't like uphold like modern video game standards; it just ripped off other video games. But I was sitting there like, what fucking Star Wars games have you been playing? Because I feel like my entire life that's what Star Wars games have done.
It's
Yeah.
another genre.
Maybe Knights of the Old Republic
Sure.
is not like anything before it necessarily, but like
It is still though just like a tabletop RPG put into.
Yeah.
like
Like it's not original.
Question:
yeah, and
did Knights of the Old Republic come out after or before Mass Effect? Before, right?
Before by a little bit.
Because that's why
Yeah.
BioWare made Mass Effect, because they were like, oh, we don't have
Yeah.
Star Wars anymore, so
Yeah.
let's make our own Star Wars.
and like Republic Commando is just Halo.
Yeah.
Like, and there are plenty of older Star Wars games you can point to that are just this older game that did well, and then they put a Star Wars skin on it. And I feel like we've talked about that many times. So
Yeah.
watching this video where they were like, Fallen Order is just Tomb Raider and Uncharted and Dark Souls and this, I was like, yeah, and
Yeah,
and then they're
it's
like, if
still
you want
fun.
Star
It does
Wars,
it these
we
days.
like it, and I'm like, yeah, probably because I like all those other games.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
Yeah.
I think that execution is what matters at the end of the day with all of that. Like I could play some sort of because video games are iterative, right? Like every single video game that ever comes out like is either cribbing something from something else, or like it is the exact same thing. You know, there's a very little immense innovation, and that's those games that do make that jump. Those are obviously extremely noteworthy. But
yeah,
I don't have a problem with a lot of games like kind of like, you know, taking their own spin on you know, whatever this. I mean, Star Wars Squadrons is just like a, you know, I mean, I guess
It's
those.
a jet simulator.
Yeah, it's just a
jet fighting
flying simulator game. You know.
it's like an arcadey simulator, which
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
weird, but like it is, which is cool. Don't get me wrong. I want to fly a goddamn X-wing. It was interesting. I was discovering the other night that a lot of people feel like older Star Wars games were not derivative of other games.
Yeah.
100% worth.
It's bonkers to me. Like, I don't know. It'd be like saying, oh, you know, the new Resident Evil's just ripped off Dead Space, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, Dead Space just ripped off Resident Evil. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. But going back to the original point, like I do really enjoy the gameplay of Squadrons. I think it's a ton of fun. Because yeah, like you just said, it's a very arcadey flight simulator. You just get to fly around and be like, yo, I'm an X-Wing pilot, or I'm gonna bomb the crap out of that.
Like every time I'm at well, not in a while, but every time I was at like a Dave and Buster's or something, and they have the Star Wars Battle Pod, like I play it a couple times. Like I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Alex, did you notice how surprisingly complex like a lot of the systems with one flying were? Like, I think it was really cool when you could like change the direction of your shield, like it's fucking Star Trek. Where you're like rear deflector shield.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, it's pretty, it's pretty crazy.
Like, you're monitoring like, okay, let's boost my engines, let's take that down and go to neutral. Okay, no, let's boost all that. Yeah, then it eventually does like, all right, how do you want your targeting system to work if you're playing with like not instruments only but the full HUD?
Yeah.
You can change like target friendlies, target opponents, target capital ships, target starfighters. Yeah, and then Cody's right. Like if you're in a ship with shields, you can choose where the shields are focused.
That's pretty
or
cool.
if you're in an Imperial one without shields,
It's like speed boost. And,
boost it. It does even more emphasis to your engines or your lasers.
Yeah. They have like that like I think it's the D-pad if you're using a controller that you control it with. It's up on the D-pad is your weapons, left on the D-pad is your shields, and then right is your speed. So you can kind of like, oh, I need to go really fast, really quickly. So you'll put all of your power into speed and then just like boost away. And then when you want to start attacking, you'll flip up to attack mode, and then you could like go to the bottom and then just have like a general even like, you know, ratio of all of them. I really liked that. I thought it was cool to like manage. You know, it felt.
And if
cool.
you're in an X-wing and you do want to go like on say a trench run or something that's like really honestly crazy, you can focus your shield, then focus it to your front.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you could even use one of your auxiliaries to do it's called like the assault shield. And you could truly completely front load yourself so that like you can make these crazy runs while still being able to shoot out your targets. Like, and so like there is a lot of like, you could make some fairly complex strategies and specialized runs in that game because it is fairly in depth for what you can do with the controls of the ships.
Yeah. I like that it's very like niche in its sim qualities, you know. It's like this is not just a Star Wars branded like you know, flying an X-wing game. It's like, oh, this is like a fucking sim game, you know.
Yeah, but if you do want to just treat it that way, like multiplayer, you might get shredded apart.
Yeah.
But like you can just fly around and shoot stuff and do what you want in a TIE Fighter and X-wing with great graphics that make you feel very much like you are in the Star Wars, space battles.
Yeah.
It's very much made for VR.
Oh yeah, I've heard that it's really, really cool in VR. I'm a little sad that
I think less so. The gameplay itself, I think, is a little less VR intensive. Like, don't get me wrong, it'd be awesome. I still haven't done it. I need to do it. Like, it would be super immersive, but I do feel that's more in the menus and the in between than the gameplay itself necessarily.
Oh, really? Because I feel like the menus very much are made for VR. Just the fact that you can't walk around and you click to get places.
Yeah.
But I feel like the gameplay is totally made for VR as well. Like I wonder. I'm assuming you can see out the sides of your windows.
Yeah.
So you can on keyboard you can click L and then you can look around freely.
I did not know that.
But I don't know what it is on controller.
I prefer.
Yeah,
I actually don't know if you
later.
can look freely on the controller.
But
I mean, I've been playing on keyboard, but I did not know you could look around like that.
There's not actually that much more window.
Yeah, there isn't really. There's not a lot to look at either. Like, I mean, honestly, because you've got your
It
radar,
could be tracking or something.
yeah, but your radar is the best tool for that, you know, ultimately, because it's like it not only does it tell you like, you know, everything around you, it tells you the direction, tells you the altitude, tells you if they're up, they're down, or whatever, and it tells you everything, not just what is to the right of you, you know. Yeah, that's why
help for like tracking or
that's
like
why
if you
VR
are
I
pulling
think
a curve.
Yeah, I think VR would solve that problem because you can do both, right? You can just be like, oh, look down, look down. You don't have to.
Yeah,
press
I need
a
to try it in
look.
VR.
Although I think I would rather play it in VR in single player. I don't want to fuck with multiplayer VR. That sounds like a big task to pay attention to.
It's the same thing though, kind of. No.
Well, humans are a lot smarter than AI.
Well, yeah,
and if they've had time, like before you've even jumped in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you don't want to jump right into it, but if you got the hang of it.
Yeah, so I still need to boot that up, but I do need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I need to play more of it. I've only played the first couple missions.
Yeah, I actually have the flight stick set up because I bought it from Microsoft Flight Simulator, and it is extremely hard to fly with that. Like, I'm so much better with a controller than I am with the flight stick. I'm sure there's a level of control if you know what you're doing, but it's already hard enough when I'm flying with a flight stick and I have to deal with gravity. When there's no gravity whatsoever, it's like, oh my god, like where the fuck am I? Like I'm pushing forward and eventually I'll hit floor in real life, but on this it's like I keep going in a goddamn circle and I'm like,
it's just spinning.
Yeah, it was really, really hard to figure out where I was going. So I don't know if I don't even know like if real flight people would be able to be good with that, because it's such a different type of movement, in space compared to flying in real life.
Yeah, I like mouse and keyboard. I like the control the mouse gives you on the turns and stuff. I just don't have that same level of sensitivity with joystick.
I think I played a lot of Battlefield 3, and I flew a lot of jets in Battlefield 3, and that's where that came from.
Yeah, so I like the control of the mouse for the pointing and the turning and stuff, and then using like, I don't know, I like that like W is like, accelerate, like, but you don't have to hold it. It's your acceleration level. S reduce it. A and D are your rolls. Q and E are your auxiliaries. Then 1, 2, 3, 4 are like the different priority boosts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like shift is to drift and stuff. So like in a few movements, like I feel like I can use my whole hand to like pilot the ship, which always feels like cool when you pull something off really well. You're like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right, that's Star Wars Squadrons. Alex,
what else have you played, Alex?
Well, Austin and I finally beat Diablo.
We did.
You beat
Well,
the main story.
The main, the story,
yeah.
and we started some of the post campaign.
And the post campaign is the Reaper of Souls content, or
Well,
what is it?
no. Reaper of Souls is the 5th act of the game.
Oh. So wait, did the 4th act end on like a cliffhanger, or did it end in a way that was like, oh,
no, it's just not good. Like it's not a good ending. Like
it's not. It's very rushed. Like
yeah, it's like weird because we were like, oh, we're fighting Diablo now, and part of that is probably because I knew that there was 5 acts. But it was still like, this doesn't feel like this should be ending anytime soon. And then so
like at launch that would have been super frustrating.
Well, I think we've talked about how like,
you mentioned
yeah.
It's like Mass Effect 3. I never played it until it had the extra stuff, so I don't know how frustrating it was. But with Diablo, I could feel it. I was like, "Whoa, this would have pissed me off. Like this would have sucked." But it was really cool. Like the Reaper of Souls stuff, you can tell that it was like added later and was just made with so much care because like I kept saying like the music is so good, and I don't think I said that at any other point. And like just the villain was cool, and like things, there will be bodies that get up off the ground and attack you, which was neat and different from everything before it. So it was just a really cool addition, and like there was noticeable stuff that was really cool. But then, when we finished the story,
things started getting a little crazier too, like more enemies towards the end and stuff. Like
which the post game stuff has been even more.
Oh yeah.
Like that. And to be honest, like you guys know how I am. Like I'm kind of a campaign boy, and then I'm usually done. But when we got to the end of the campaign in Diablo 3, I was like, actually, I will do this stuff. Like this looks really cool.
For the most part, in those loot type of games, the end game content is usually like it's like a final boss rush to get some sort of rare equipment, and that's it, and I've never been interested in that stuff because it's like, you have to like min-max your character in a way that it's like, oh, this is the only way you can enjoy this is to like break the game, almost.
So Diablo is built to do that though. Diablo is built to min-max, right? Like I'm a barbarian, I only care about my strength and my vitality, but there are only 4 attributes. There's only dexterity and like toughness or something after that, and like I only need, or intelligence, and I only need strength and vitality. So I'm min-maxing those, and like you do get better gear, right? You beat the big boss, he drops a bunch of loot, but like there's no, like, not that I'm aware of, there's no like truly legendary gear to get. Like there's not, like in WoW there's certain weapons where it's like that's what you need, right? And that's not it. It's constantly still evolving, so you're just fighting, but there's like a level of satisfaction to it, and you can make it look however you want. Like it's not set to be that. You can choose the aesthetic you want. And then there's actually like, at a certain point, like in WoW, you keep getting stuff every level, and I know they're not the same type of game, but WoW, you keep getting stuff every level, but you don't get that much. The same is true in Diablo, but like there is a lot of variety because you've got 4 attacks. You have a left click, a 1, 2, 3, and a 4. Different like attacks you have, and each one of those slots or buttons has 3 to 5 options for what it can be, and each of those options has like 4 to 7 runes that alter it. So it is a lot of customization you can do that way. Like yes, once you choose a barbarian, you are stuck being a barbarian. You are going to stand there, soak damage, and beat them with a stick. When you're a demon hunter, you're going to stay back and use range and just deal massive damage and stuff, right? You are stuck in those roles.
Yeah, okay.
But there is a surprising amount of customization in what you can do within those roles, which I think is really cool and satisfying. Like as a barbarian, just fighting down like hordes of weak enemies is super satisfying.
Yeah, Alex gets so hyped when we're like crazy surrounded and everything goes off.
That reminds me
I'm currently set up like.
Reminds me of the best parts of Doom 2016 is when you're just like super surrounded by a million different enemies.
Yeah, and I'm set up like my alt attack is this giant earthquake that goes out in a wedge. Like my primary one like sucks a bunch of enemies close, and I have a lightning bolt that comes down and hits them all. So like I can do all this damage to these huge enemies at once, or these huge hordes of enemies at once. That's incredibly satisfying.
So you're sucking enemies, and then you're blowing enemies, huh? That's what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, no, Cody, I feel like every time it comes up, I feel like you bring up like the looting and stuff, but I don't know. I kind of like don't even pay attention to that stuff for the most part. Like if I find better armor, I'll take it because you can transmogrify anything to look like whatever you want, or you can change the color to whatever you want. So you can look exactly the same the whole time, but the stats go up. And like, I don't know, I don't get that intense on the stats.
A lot of games don't do that. You know,
I
Yeah.
know, but Diablo does, which is fucking awesome, because
You
that's what I
can-
hate about some games. You're like, I want to look cool, but this is a better armor.
yeah, that's like the
Yeah.
classic gaming, like, you know,
Yeah.
measure. It's like, oh, do I wear the stupid pink armor with you know, like the ribbon on top?
I would
Accept
fuck
it.
with the pink armor.
Well, I would
totally
too,
fuck
but
with
it's
the
like, oh,
pink
but
We've been
mine.
black and blue the whole campaign.
Okay, yeah, but I would fuck with the pink armor.
Yeah, but
Now I'm
anyways,
gonna change to pink.
it's
next
like
time.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey does this, where they do the exact same thing, where like it's kind of a loot type situation where you get like new boots or new, you know, sword or whatever, but you can do the exact same thing, and it doesn't cost any money either. You can literally change it to whatever you want.
It costs money in Diablo, but it's like
You make so much
500.
money it doesn't.
Yeah,
matter.
I have like 2 million money. I was like, Jesus. But because you sell so much shit that you
Yeah.
get. But to me, it's just fun because like I think we've played Gauntlet together, like the one of them, and like I've played Gauntlet before, and it just feels like Gauntlet, except I have customization of the moves I'm using, like way more. Like Alex was saying, you have like 4 moves, and then you have like 4 options for each button, and then you
Yeah.
have like 7 runes per each, and they change them pretty drastically, honestly.
Yeah, they do. They make them completely different moves.
Yeah, each rune isn't just like here's level 2, here's level 3. It's like you can still use the first rune the whole game because it's the move you like
Yeah,
best.
my like pull-in, I have it's called like stomp or something. I smack the ground and draw everyone towards me. I think it's the first or second rune, and I've
Yeah.
used it the whole game because my other power I have it paired up with that lightning strike. I can use that rapidly. So right when I recharge the stomp and draw them all in, it does that. But otherwise, the stomp can knock them back. It can freeze them. It can, I think, just deal additional damage, or any damage dealt to them heals me. It does all sorts of stuff. So
Yeah.
there's that. And when you get items, you go back to town. You can put gems in them to adjust them. You can enchant and disenchant them if you want to change like certain attributes.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
but
use
it-
bone spikes for the rest of my life because that's the best move in the entire game.
Yeah, you can.
But it's like super. It's to me, it's just super arcadey and fun. Like we can hop in,
Yeah.
and it's fun because me and Alex have played it together. Like when's the last time we all played a game like this many hours? I mean, I guess you guys did Overwatch like every week.
Oh my
for-
god,
Right.
we played
couple
so much
days a week,
fucking
but-
Overwatch.
But like, I don't know. I mean, I guess Blizzard games are where it's at for that. But
Yeah, well, and with the like you said, like you're so like you can jump in, jump out. It is very arcadey, so you can go in, and now especially post game, like you
Yeah.
can go in and do 1-2 bounties or rift journeys, which are each like anywhere from 5 to 20-minute
yeah,
adventures. You can do one of those, or you can play them for
In
you
and
know,
out,
4
20-minute
hours.
adventure.
Yeah,
exactly. But no, I don't know. It's
Then
really
you end up crying afterwards.
Yep.
'cause
This
Yeah.
is like
hordes
super
of
crazy.
demons. Yeah,
but it's super fun, and like, yeah,
I've
like,
enjoyed it far more than I thought I would.
I am too, and I thought I would enjoy it.
Like,
But
I honestly, I was somewhat interested in it to begin with because like I'd obviously heard of it. I knew what it was. I never got to play the earlier ones, but I was kind of like, all right, not really my like vibe in a game normally, or
Like
style of
aesthetically.
game I like to play. Yeah, aesthetically or mechanically.
whereas
and I
I'm
was
like, ooh, demons and darkness.
Right, but
It's
like I was like,
an Avenged Sevenfold album cover. I want to
Yeah.
play that.
but I was
Then
like, all
as
right,
hell.
you know, it's something easy to pick up, put down, like can play it, see if I like it. I ended up super enjoying it. Like I
Okay.
really think it's a good game.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Yeah, I mean, and if
Like,
you
buddy,
guys have,
if you want to play through it, like I'll play through it. With
Yeah, I have a low level
my
character at the
only
same
gripe-
spot as you.
Yeah,
There you go.
same. My only gripe is that the post game stuff seems really fun, but I do wish that I could play as other characters in it. But you have to go through the whole campaign
yeah,
to have a character that's at that level. So it just makes you need to play the campaign again, which isn't bad because
No,
it
it's
is
like
fun.
it was like 12 hours, and the whole thing was fun.
Yeah.
okay. Well, I mean, I'll play it eventually. I'm just I got a lot of video games to play right now.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, no, we think
Yeah,
we
but like we've played usually once a week for the past few weeks,
yeah,
maybe twice on certain ones, and
Probably a
it's
couple.
usually like a weeknight for like an hour or two at a time.
yeah. Really, it wasn't very long every time we played it. It really was an hour
So,
or two
Yeah,
tops.
if you ever want to jump in, like we can let you know and you can play it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll play eventually.
Yeah.
I will do it eventually.
Yeah,
While
that's
you
fine.
guys were talking about that, I was trying to check how many times we've played Overwatch, Alex. I didn't know if there was.
Oh,
I
don't. Oh God.
don't know if there's
So
a counter
fucking
like
much.
it is on the Switch. You know?
Yeah, I don't think PlayStation has it. Are you looking at PC?
No, I'm looking at.
We didn't do much PC compared to PlayStation.
Yeah, I'm
like,
trying
we
to.
did a good amount, but
All I
think PlayStation.
know is that I played a shitload of Mercy.
Oh, well, we were playing every Tuesday or Thursday for at least 2 hours with 3 other guys for probably a year straight.
Yeah.
On top of any other random like times that worked out.
So
I was looking at it the other night because it's only $20 now on because I was thinking of grabbing it on PC.
Oh yeah, I'd play that shit.
Yeah.
I have played the perfect amount of hours on Mercy, my main, 69 hours.
Oh my god, it's a lot of hours.
That's.
Yeah,
I
we
feel like
played
that's
a
not
lot
even
of
that many considering, but yeah,
Yeah,
I played a
a month.
fuckload of Mercy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 4 days worth of Mercy there. Oh my god. Anyways, Diablo, fun game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is really cool. I'm super excited for Diablo 4, and like I've been like looking for Diablo-esque games, and yeah, that's been like my brain lately.
Well, Alex, what is Wind Peaks?
Wind
Yeah,
Peaks is. I'm actually playing it right now. I think it's normally like $10. It was on sale for I think $7 on Steam.
I've seen this.
It's a point and click find 'em game.
Yeah, like those kind of like a Secret of Monkey
Like Where's
Island.
Waldo, but yeah, you're looking for hidden items, not Waldo. I can't think of the category.
I mean, it's just a point and click
name.
adventure. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, it's a point and click. Adventure's a loose term. You're these like I think Boy Scouts, and it's just taking you through different areas and you find them. But what's cool about it is 100% hand drawn and hand animated. So it looks super cool. It's all very very unique. It looks like there are only 8 levels.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it.
But like I said, I mean, I really enjoy the hand drawn aesthetic. It was recommended because I have Cuphead, and it was like, oh, you like hand drawn stuff. And I was like, you know what? If this goes on sale, I'll pick it up as just a chill, cool little game. People really liked it. Said some of the stuff's really hard to find, which that's true. It is well hidden. You can zoom in really close or out, and like there are things you click and things happen, right? Not necessarily in like a sequence, though there was just one small puzzle. But just simple. It looks really good.
They have on their website for their for the game. They have like the strange. It like any other game. Like considering what this is, it would seem like this would be the worst negative. Like they have like features like game features 10 cartoonish handmade levels, relaxing forest sounds. But then they have this which says game features no death / violence, no hyper realism, no procedural worlds. It's like. It's wondering to me like who is that targeting lately? What is that audience?
I totally understand how all of those are positives, but absolutely you could hear that in like a negative context.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's super weird to read. Like it's like sure, like I get it. I feel like you don't even have to mention that, but it's interesting.
So the last thing I'll kind of say about it because it is a little weird. So the animation style, I mean, you guys are looking at. I'm gonna say Gravity Falls-ish. It kind of is, kind of not, but the overall theme of
also
it is
called Wind Peaks, which
true.
Immediately was like, is it like a Twin Peaks rip?
But the weird thing is when you start up, the company's name comes up, and I don't remember what it is. But it's I wish I could give them crap. I don't know, but like it has an O.
Actun Studio.
Actun, and out of one of the O's is a furry wolf. Like it's like the furry style wolf as like presumably the primary developer, the dude who created it.
Oh boy!
Like an actual furry.
Yes, like the very cartoonish order.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Look at me, aren't I cute?
Oh yeah, I see that logo.
Right, and it's like,
what the hell are you seeing?
Action Studio, it's called.
No,
it's
Actun.
Actun.
Oh, sorry, I searched it and then they gave me Action Studio.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Oh, it's a furry.
Yeah, it's a furry. It's like
furry game.
Apparently,
I'm laughing at.
Isn't.
Is this company? This company is an American, right? They got to be some like.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah, because I'm reading like the what happens in Wind Peaks, and like this is the description of the game. In a place called Wind Peaks, mysteries happen, help the scouts find all the missing objects in this fun and relaxing adventure of treasure hunt.
Yeah. For some reason, when the wolf logo showed up, I assumed Russian. I have no basis for that, but
you were like, "Oh, they're furries. They must be Russian."
Must be Russian.
For some reason, that's what I linked. I don't know why.
The official website says Wind Peaks hidden adventure object.
Yeah,
page you're looking at?
Yep, that's the one. Yep.
But this is like for sure one person made this and was just like, cool.
I mean,
Like,
hey, props to him. It looks good.
Yeah,
It looks like
it does, and it is enjoyable. It's a decent little point and click find 'em game.
The environments look like really like it looks very detailed.
Yeah, they do. I mean,
There's
I
a
know
video
Cody's not
down here.
recording, but I can screen it.
There's a video I'm watching on their main channel right here. There's a
I-
unicorn cow.
So I'm streaming it.
Oh,
I
I'm
don't know
missing
how
it.
to look at that. Oh, it's right here. Watch stream. Oh, I'm watching.
Yeah, I
you.
can just do this. Oh wait, no,
One
I can't
click.
do this.
Wait, what did you say about a cow? A unicorn cow?
There's a
is that
unicorn
in one
cow at the
page?
end of the
He's
video.
looking at
Oh, yeah,
the
this
video.
looks cute. This looks kind of cool.
Yeah, so it's not furry, but that is the logo.
Well, not
So
yet.
like I've got, so I can. This is fully zoomed out, but I can zoom in like pretty far.
This is really good podcast content. Us
Oh, yeah.
watching.
I know. Sorry. I had to prove it wasn't a furry point and click game.
I think you're in the clear, Alex. You're fine.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Twin Peaks, furry video
it's
game.
cool.
Alex highly recommends it, based on
I mean, if you just want something chill.
and has a furry logo. All right. Austin Bosley, I'm skipping to you because you guys have both played, I guess.
Oh,
this
Yeah,
video.
Yeah. Well, okay. We already talked about Diablo. We talked about Star Wars Squadrons. I have
Mhm.
also, because I had really wanted to play Warcraft 3 because I played it a lot growing up, and I haven't played it in years, obviously. And but I told myself I wouldn't buy it until we beat the Diablo 3 campaign. So when we did that, literally like 20 minutes later, I bought Warcraft 3, and I've been playing it this week. And I love it. It's so fun. It's really great. The story's good. It's way darker than I ever remember. Like, I think I didn't play enough of the story growing up. Like, I think I did a lot of just the multiplayer stuff or whatever. But
Like against AI, or did you actually play against like real people
I
back in the day?
think probably against AI. I'm not sure.
That's what I did
but
with StarCraft. I just played like against AI games and enabled all of the cheats and just you
Yeah.
know.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know if I did that, but
Yeah, I
it's really
played
fun.
AI
And I
enabled
know
models.
that people hated the Reforged stuff.
Mhm.
I think mostly they were pissed about multiplayer stuff, which I'm not fucking with. I saw one video that they were complaining about, like, oh, this water animation, is this from the 90s or is it like
Okay,
the
but the
90s or
game
the
is
early
from the
2000s?
90s.
I'm like, yeah, probably fucking was, because that's when the game is from.
Yeah.
But like, it looks fine, and yeah, if you zoom into certain things, I guess it doesn't look, incredible.
Well, like Age of Mythology was like that. Reboot it still looks good for what it was, but it's an early 2000s game.
I think Warcraft 3 looks pretty fucking good, like compared to what it looked like before. And before it probably looked fine too, but I don't know. It looks neat, and it's just fun. The game is good. I haven't encountered any bugs. I don't know. Maybe they patched a bunch of stuff, but
I mean, I'm sure they have done like
Yeah, and
post-launch
so-
type stuff.
but it seems fine now, especially just doing campaign. So maybe there's annoyances with multiplayer that I don't have to deal with, but I'm loving it. I'm on the third campaign. There's 9 because it includes the Frozen Throne campaigns. But they all seem to be like 3 or 4 hours long because you know me, I look up like how long certain
Yeah.
sections are and stuff. And so I'm on the third one, which is Undead, which I don't like playing as Undead as much as the orcs and the humans, and I don't remember playing as anyone else so far, so it'll be new to me. But I don't like the Undead as much, but it's really cool. It's kind of, and I had thought this might happen, like, because I have nostalgia for Warcraft 3, because I was gonna just play StarCraft, because I know
Hell
Cody,
yeah.
like, you love StarCraft, and everybody we grew up with like kind of loves StarCraft. Alex
of
was an Age of
Empires.
Empires boy, yeah, but
Yep.
and then I was Warcraft 3, but
Everyone had
I'm
their
hoping
respective RTS.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And so now, yeah, but like now that I'm enjoying Warcraft 3 so much, when I'm finished with it, I might go through the StarCraft games because I'll probably be hungry for RTSs. Although, truthfully, I might just be hungry for fantasy games, which has been the case for months
I
now.
mean, Age of Empires is medieval, so it feels kind of fancy.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
Yeah.
you can
Age of
get a
Empires
race
2
car.
is still active. They literally released an expansion for it, I think, like 2 years ago, and the game's like 13 years old.
There's there's definitive editions of Age of Empires 1, 2, and 3 on Steam.
Yeah, because I only have ever had Age of Kings and the Conquerors, and I think they've released 2 since that.
Woo-loo.
But super cool.
Woo-loo. Woo-loo.
What?
I have
Worst
such a
sound.
nostalgia. I mean, it is nostalgia, but I have such a love for those, like, for RTS games. Like, they
Yeah.
and we talked about it before, but like, it just breaks my heart how like RTS as a genre is not a thing anymore.
Yeah, Austin and I were
Is
talking about that the other day.
Yeah, because I was looking for new ones, and it seems like there are a lot of them, but they're not like a big thing. I
No.
think there's a lot of Warhammer games that are RTSs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I've never played those games, so I don't know anything about
Yeah, I
them.
haven't gotten
but-
into any of the
Speaking of,
Warhammer.
when I was on my hunt for Diablo-esque games, and I've told Alex about this, there's a Warhammer game called Chaos Bane that it apparently is like really great. So I kind of want to play that at some point. But
I just know Warhammer 40K is an absurd game. Like,
Oh, yeah.
the actual tabletop game is for like
oh yeah,
the most insane and dedicated.
my only like experience really with Warhammer, aside from like seeing the pictures, I guess, is there's a guy online. I cannot remember his name, but there's a guy on YouTube that's made these like incredible, really fucking cool Warhammer CG shorts, and I think he makes them by himself. They're really neat. Hold on, let me find the name.
There is also, I think it's Warhammer. When
Yeah.
I used to watch some D&D YouTubers, one of them was talking about, I think it was one of the OG Warhammer games, if not the original, because it was like a D&D, but like you actually started as a profession rather than like a class or anything. You were like, oh, I'm a cook or I'm a farmer or whatever. And then like you had to go through the world and then determine those things like your class and stuff based on what happened to you, and your stats were reflected in that. They were super low, like awful. You can get like permanent injuries. Like if you get seriously wounded, your arm's off and it's just off.
Your arm's off.
Yeah, and it was like that's
No, it
kind of
isn't.
cool.
But yeah, what were we talking about? Warcraft 3 RTSs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Sorry.
they are. No, they're really fun, and like I'll maybe go through StarCraft. I might get the remastered StarCraft just because.
Oh, remastered StarCraft looks good, and it what's good about it is that it has a higher aspect ratio, so it'll look a lot like
would like fill my screen
Yeah.
probably.
yeah.
And that's nice, and like I don't really care like if the graphics are old or whatever, but if it's there and it's like nice, like
Yeah.
why not?
They
You know,
have
I mean,
they have this great skin that you can put on the game. There's a guy on YouTube named Carbot. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's Carbot, and he made like a bunch of like Blizzard type animations, like
oh yeah, the
StarCraft.
cartoon one?
Yeah, the cartoon ones. And there's a skin for
Yeah.
StarCraft 1 that replaces the entire game with his art style,
Oh,
and it's
wow.
it's awesome. Like it's so cool.
You have to buy that.
Yes, you do.
You can play StarCraft for free, or you can
Right.
buy remastered and cartooned.
Yes.
Cartooned is only $10.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
was-
Like if I replayed it when I replayed it recently, I replayed it entirely in that version because I was like, oh, this
Oh,
fucking
that's
looks super cute and I love it. And it was just
Yeah.
fun to see like what they like did for certain animations for characters or certain like designs for whatever. It
Mhm.
just and it's really cool that Blizzard did that. You know, like
Yeah,
imagine if
fun.
you were like just a guy making little silly little YouTube videos and then suddenly your art is the art
Is
for an
game.
entire
Yeah.
video game.
I need to pick it up. Since all of our buddies and stuff play, I should just have it.
I am always trying to play StarCraft. Like I fucking love that game, but everyone is like, oh, just I don't want to download RTS.
Well, when I get through Warcraft 3, I'll pick up StarCraft 1 and then go through that and then play
Yeah.
2.
Hell yeah!
But no, but it's but Warcraft 3 is super fun. Really, honestly, like the game is really good and like holds up. So play it. It's awesome. I love it.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I've just been like super hyped on the Blizzard games. It's because they give you this handy little app, and then all these things are
Yeah.
advertised to
There you
you,
go.
and they're all fun. So you're like, I might as well.
Yep.
But
Blizzard,
I've
yeah,
not-
very rarely. I mean, I don't hate any Blizzard game. I
No,
don't.
and they all have a fairly low bar of entry.
Yeah, I don't particularly like Hearthstone because it's
Yeah.
just a card game. But
fun.
I mean,
That's how I feel about Heroes.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, I get it.
yeah, I haven't.
which
that at
breaks
all.
my heart about just like the current state of Blizzard as a company. Like, and
Yeah.
it's I don't know what the future of Blizzard is. Well, we're gonna talk about some future Blizzard stuff actually in news. But anyways, Austin, you've also been playing.
I've been trying to finally go through Resident Evil Revelations 2. And I say finally, it's not like I like put it off or anything. I played like half of it, and then I just kind of, that's when I started really going hard on The Last of Us 1 and 2, like replaying the first one before 2 came out. And so I just didn't beat it. And so I'm going through it now. I actually have like an hour of it left, but I haven't done it yet. But I know, like, Alex, I don't think you've played much of any Resident Evil.
No, I don't think I've actually played any of it.
Yeah, and then Cody, you've played 4 and you played the 2 remake.
I've played the remake 2. I've played the remake of 3. I've played 4, but I mean it's been 15 years.
Yeah, but you are like
Yeah.
you know the game and you're replaying it now. I know, but
Yeah.
so the Revelations games take place like between. I mean, the timeline of Resident Evil is kind of
I have
irrelevant.
seen the movies though, at least a couple of them.
Oh, we're
I know it's a
Sorry,
whole
I'm
different
sorry.
topic, but I have seen a couple of them.
A
That's
lot
my
of people
only
hate
experience.
the movies are mostly bad without question, but I have a soft spot for them just because I'm a very weird fanboy of like the 2000 Screen Gems horror action franchises starring women with guns,
There
both
you go.
Resident Evil and Underworld. I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys remember, like a year
Mhm.
and a half or 2 years ago, I went through and watched every single Resident Evil and Underworld, even though I'd already seen them. Which is 11 movies, and I did it in like a week. I'm a weirdo, but anyway, Alex, the one thing to understand about Resident Evil games and movies is they are two incredibly different animals.
I'm aware of that fact. I'm just saying
Yes.
that is my only experience.
Yeah, but in terms of the games, like the there's a loose continuity, I think, but basically Revelations 1 takes place between 4 and 5, and Revelations 2 takes place between 5 and 6.
Okay.
And so I played the first Revelations, which was a 3DS game.
Wait, who's the star of Revelations? Who are we
The
playing
first
as?
Revelations, it's Jill Valentine, and then the second Revelations, you play as Claire Redfield and Barry. Oh my God, what's his name?
Barry Bonds.
No,
Barry B. Benson.
Barry Burton. You play as Barry Burton, who, if I'm not mistaken, was only previously in the first game.
The first game. Is like a side
very-
character because you play as
Very first Resident Evil. He's like one of the guys in the mansion with you in the first one. But I could be wrong on that. But I know that I think it was like a big comeback for the character to be in Revelations 2. People were like, oh, cool, Barry's back, you know, like Resident Evil nerds, which I say that as being a Resident Evil nerd. But yeah, so Revelations 2, and actually, so the first one was a 3DS game. Which is crazy, but I actually played it on 3DS because that's what I had it on, and I thought it was so much fun. I loved it.
Just like the story or the mechanics, like what set it apart from the others?
I mean, I just like Resident Evil games, and the story was fine. The story of every Resident Evil game is fine generally. Like they get pretty stupid at times, but that's kind of the fun of it. But I think I really like the setting. The setting is so important, and Revelations 1 is set on like a haunted ship, or not really haunted. I guess
that's cool.
You're on like a ship in the middle of the ocean that's been abandoned. It's almost like Alien, but on a ship in the sea. Obviously,
Wait, there's zombies on the ocean.
Yeah, well, the ship is obviously full of zombies, and at this point, Resident Evil monsters are mostly not zombies.
Yeah, they're kind of just like tentacle demon people.
Yeah, they're just.
Really?
Well, they're like
Yeah.
they're just like zombie. Like they kind of like get bit and then they turn into zombies. But then like the ultimate goal is like becoming
They keep morphing into
Yeah.
like something more
Oh,
horrific
okay.
yeah.
and wacky, but it's cool. But that's why Resident Evil 2, the remake, was kind of exciting because it was like, ooh, just classic zombies again, which is awesome. But so Revelations 1, I had a blast. I played it like a year and a half ago, finally all the way through, like backstage of one of the shows at the theater I was working at, and I couldn't put it down. And then I got the pack of Revelations 1 and 2 for Switch. Which is weird because I own the other ones, all physical copies on PS4, but for some reason I wanted Revelations on Switch. And so I've been going through 2, which, if I'm not mistaken, was released episodically when it came out. It was like once a month or something, or like, but it was either 4 or 8 installments. I know there are 4 episodes, but each episode has 2 halves. So yeah, it was released episodically, which is kind of crazy. It's not great. It has, mentioned this the other night, that I think it has the creepiest villain of any Resident Evil game I've played. But only for a few moments so far. But it also has this really cool mechanic where like each character you play as has a partner. And so like Claire's partner is Moira Burton, and she has a flashlight, and so you can only find certain things if you switch to Moira and use her flashlight.
Hi, Moira, the zombies are over there.
Well, she does not have an accent like that at all. But then when you're Barry, there's this little girl you play with, and that was really cool because there's a sequence where like there are these invisible monsters and only she can see them. So you can switch to her to see where they are, but you also, as Barry, if you aim your gun, she'll tell you like, no, more left, more right. And then when you're on it, she'll be like, shoot. And so I thought that was really cool.
kind of a systemic way for the gameplay to kind of unfold. It's like, oh wait,
yeah, it's cool. It's got a lot of fun mechanics in it, but ultimately the game is kind of bad. It's not even kind of bad. It's just the first one I think was way better, at least on 3DS. I've not played it on Switch, but yeah, Revelations 2 is not one of the best Resident Evil games, but it's fun enough. Like I'm enjoying it.
well, there's probably more bad Resident Evil games than there are good ones, right? At the end of the day.
As far as critical acclaim, say.
I mean,
No,
Resident
actually,
Evil.
maybe not. I feel like the
I don't
only
agree
kind of
with-
Resident Evil games that people didn't like were like maybe 7. No, not 7.
There are-
6. What was the one that
Some
looked like a
people not
giraffe?
like 4.
Honestly, if you go from 0 to 7 and then include Revelations, like those are all the readily available ones on
Yeah.
modern systems.
Maybe
as
I'm
far
totally
as I
crazy.
know.
Maybe the Resident Evil series is actually really good.
I think
Weren't
it is
people
pretty
pissed
solid.
off
But
about 4?
I think there are. Aren't people what?
Weren't people pissed off about 4?
Oh, no, hell no.
Resident Evil
4 is the
4
best.
like one of the best games ever made.
No,
Legitimately
but-
one of the best video games ever.
I thought
It's
people were
6.
mad about something. Is it 6?
People don't like 5 or 6.
6 has the biggest, most damning thing about number 6 is that the logo on the front of the box art looks like a weird giraffe.
It does look like a weird giraffe. So I own all of them on PS4, like I said. But 6 is the only one I've never played. But I haven't played 5 since Xbox 360, and I liked it when it came out. I started it on PS4, but I didn't play through all of it because I wanted to play 0 instead, which obviously is vastly different in gameplay. And 5 was kind of getting on my nerves, so I kind of get why people didn't like it. But when I played it all the way through when it came out, I enjoyed it. But as far as I know, the only ones people really don't like of those mainline ones are 6 for sure, and 5 is like iffy, I guess.
Mhm.
But then I'm trying to there's like a lot of side games too that aren't even as readily available anymore.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you the
Um,
names of any of them, honestly.
Yeah, like I bought one on Steam that I've not played yet, Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. I have no idea what people think of it.
This sounds just like Resident Evil 2
I mean,
or Resident Evil 3
Yeah.
too.
Probably. In fact, it's funny you say that because I'm seeing Jill Valentine in one of the screenshots.
Yep.
But I don't know. But yeah, I've only played the remakes of 2 and 3. Well, I think I played 2 years ago, but pretty
Mhm.
much all of them I've played more recently. I kind of wish they'd make one like the first one again and 0, like with the fixed camera.
Yeah.
Like it's not like maybe a big, huge release one, but it'd be really cool if they made mobile games, like puzzle games like that, because it's like classic Resident Evil, but lends itself more to maybe like a point and click type of thing, but rather than the fucking tank controls.
Yeah.
But
Resident Evil's kind of gotten a lot more actiony over the years.
oh yeah, but I think 4 is a good blend, and 2 is like the perfect blend of
2
like
is the best I've played.
2 is the remake of Resident Evil 2 is like, I mean, that's just a great game, period. And 4 is like that too, where Resident Evil 4 is just a good ass game.
Yeah. I was really
and, like-
disappointed with 3 at how little like puzzle elements there were in that game.
3, but you know what? I read a thing about it, like a review or like something the developers had said, where they were like, this is just they like made it for speedrunners, and they made it for it to just be this action packed like
Yeah.
run through it.
It was by
And
design.
It is that what?
It was by design, like the 100%. I'm pretty sure I
Yeah.
read the same thing where they were like,
But with
oh,
how like exciting and good 2 was, I think everyone was expecting more of that,
yeah.
and it's not that. And I think like people like because I think everyone I've talked to was a little disappointed in it, but knowing what it is, maybe going through it again, it would be like, this is actually really cool.
Nemesis
But
is just not as cool as Mr. X.
No, not at all. Well, he's also a cutscene villain.
Yeah, he
But
is.
then the other thing was like, I wish that it had more action, because there's that sequence in the hospital where you get mobbed,
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of
and
dudes.
that was the best part of the game. I wanted more of that. I was like, if this is going to be the action-packed one, then go all out with it like this.
Yeah,
But
no.
most of the game wasn't like that. But Jill herself is awesome. Like she
Yeah,
was
she's chill.
always fun.
I like her. She's cool lady.
Yeah.
I don't
But,
really have a
but
lot of
anyway-
love for Carlos. He's kind of I don't like his hair.
Oh, he's whatever. Yeah, maybe he needs a haircut. He's in the movies. Most of the characters are in the movies, but they're very weird versions. But if I'm not mistaken, Carlos in the movies is played by the I don't remember his name. He's the leader of the Magi in The Mummy. That guy's
Oh,
awesome.
shit.
Oded
That
Fehr.
guy. I love
Isn't
that
his
guy.
name?
I was just
Yeah,
gonna
he's
mention
in-
Brendan Fraser because what was it? There's a game. Oh no, there's a well, we'll talk about it in news. And we'll talk about Brendan Fraser and the Mummy later.
Okay.
But
But yeah, Revelations 2, not the best Resident Evil game, but it's got a lot of really, really cool, memorable stuff in it. But yeah, it's just kind of, especially after playing Last of Us 2, like, which is very smooth. Resident Evil 2 is a fucking slog.
Yeah.
Revelations 2.
yeah. Well, as long as you enjoy it, that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. My turn. Y'all, how come you guys haven't purchased Crash Bandicoot 4 yet?
I have been like, I really, really, the day it came out, I was like, I want this immediately. And then I wanted to wait until people said if it was good or bad. And then you're really liking it.
Fucking tight. I love that game.
So I've been like, I need to buy this.
Yeah.
But I just haven't.
So one of my, I'm really sad because a video came out literally yesterday by this incredible YouTuber called Game Maker's Toolkit, and it just does a lot of good like video essays on video games. And I was gonna talk about fucking Crash Bandicoot and how much I love and appreciate this. There's a selection at the beginning of the game when you boot it up. It says playing classic mode or modern mode, and the difference between them is a lives counter. With the classic mode, you obviously have lives and you get like 50 Wumpa Fruit, you get another live or whatever it is. But in Crash 4 modern mode, you can die as many times as you want and you won't lose the game ever. And which is my like major criticism with a lot of platformers these days. Not criticism, but just like kind of like a realization that all platformers need to do this, which is get rid of the fucking lives counter. Fucking get rid of it. Like it's useless. It's a relic from arcade games. It's completely meaningless nowadays. And Crash Bandicoot does that, but here's how you make it better, which is you make it a challenge to beat levels with less lives. So for example, in Crash Bandicoot 4, there are gems that you collect. You know how you like pick up the gems randomly in the levels?
Yeah.
There's a gem in each level that you can only unlock if you beat the level without dying more than 3 times. So I think that's a great fucking mechanic because you don't have to get the gem. It's fine. You don't have to. But it's a great way to like test those people that want that kind of like challenge that lives give you. You're like, oh, you have to beat the level within these 3 lives.
And it like explicitly tells you this, like, here.
Yes.
Okay.
And it does it really fucking well because it's like an added challenge as opposed to actually being the challenge of the game. Because I fucking hate game overs in live counters in game. Like nobody likes that shit. Honestly, does anybody go like, oh man, I got a game over. I have to do everything over again. It's just
No, but that's kind of the challenge of it, though.
I know,
isn't it? Like,
but I feel like it's a challenge based on a limitation of a number, which is the number of lives, and not necessarily like a challenge of the game itself. Like the number is challenging, and not the elements in the game, like the level. You know, does that make sense?
I get it.
So I feel like it's kind of a cop-out mechanic to add challenge is what I'm trying to say. So anyways, Crash Bandicoot does that, and it's fucking tight.
Well, and it has the ability to go back to lives if you want to do that.
Yes.
Some people might like that as being an added layer challenge.
And that's a really good addition. And accessibility.
Almost as like a hardcore mode.
Yeah, I'm all for accessibility in like every video game ever. Like let anybody that wants to play it fucking play it the way they want to play it. It's fucking fine. If you can nail that and get it like challenging enough for people that want that challenge and unchallenging enough for the people that struggle, you've got a perfect video game as far as I'm concerned. And one other thing that Crash 4 does really well is there is a problem that I noticed when I was playing the remastered of 1, 2, and 3 of Crash Bandicoot, where there would be levels where the camera would be behind you and you'd have to run forward, like a bridge or like some sort of platform, and you jump forward and you couldn't see where you were landing because either the level was dark or like Crash Bandicoot's shadow was just hard to see, and in this game, every single time you jump in the air, there's a highlighted yellow circle right below your character, so you always know where you are,
Oh, okay.
So it's like it's that like perspective that like made you feel like you missed a jump like that you didn't deserve to miss is totally fucking gone because now you can always see where you are, and it is such a breath of fresh air for that series for me because it's like I fucking hated playing those levels because I'm like I would make a jump and I would just miss it, and I'm like, what the fuck? It looked like I made it, like perspective is a real issue in a video game.
Struggled with that even in the very first level of Crash.
Yeah,
it's long stretches behind him.
Yeah,
kind of
And,
hard to see what's coming up.
Consider those levels with the like the rolling boulders and stuff.
Mhm.
Same idea. Like you can't see what's coming in front of you that
Yeah.
well, so
Fair.
that extra circle gives you like an extra little bit of second to be like, oh shit, I gotta move this way or I gotta move that way. And they finally fucking fixed it where they made Crash Bandicoot's hitbox a box and not a fucking pill like they did in the last game.
But
Yeah,
that was
that-
only in the remaster.
It was only in the
right?
remaster, but I'm just so thankful that like
Yeah,
they
that bothered
realized
me.
that like you slipping off of objects feels bad, you know? Like
Yeah, I'm not good enough at platformers to not have the advantage of the square.
yeah.
So like I struggled through the
Yeah.
Crash
The
remake.
and
Do you?
sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm assuming that like, because I know it's like a legit sequel to Crash 3,
It is,
right?
It is. And there's there's a
Story's,
great
like, not that
scene.
important, I guess.
No, not really. It's a Crash Bandicoot game. It doesn't matter. But the there's a really funny cutscene where this the one of the masks you collect is like, oh, who is this guy? They're like, oh, that's Dr. Neo Cortex, and they're like, we always beat him up. And then the mask is like, how many times have you beat him up? And they're like, oh, 3. And then he's like, wait, I could have sworn there were more. They're like, nope, it was 3. Yeah, and actually that mask, fun fact, is voiced by the same guy who voices Invader Zim. Fun fact.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, he's not in the game a ton, but he is every time. You know how like when you pick up a mask, it's like, oh my god, right?
Yeah.
There's like
Yeah.
there's like whenever you pick up his mask, it does like a Invader Zim sounding oh my god. It's like it sounds exactly like him. It's hilarious.
That's really fun.
Yeah. So, anyways, that game's fucking tight. I'm a big fan of Crash Bandicoot 4. I'm probably maybe halfway through it. I think I just kind of buzzed through it because it's kind of a casual game like that.
Yeah, I'm
but-
probably gonna pick it up at some point because I mean I loved Crash Bandicoot growing up. Like
yeah.
because I was like a PlayStation kid, and so Crash Bandicoot was sort of the big platformer that I had. And I loved it. It was so much fun. I played it all the time. And so when they said the new one was, but I didn't get the remaster because I had heard such bad stuff about it.
Yeah.
And also I had like kind of wanted it to go down in price, and it literally like it's still $40, which
Yeah.
isn't bad, but like
I
don't know.
have a PlayStation 4 copy of it that you can probably play because I got it for free. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Like I played all the platforming games growing up, and I liked Crash Bandicoot. Like don't get me wrong. Like I dump on the Crash Bandicoot like as a practical like a joke, you know, all the time. But man, Crash 4 is like it's probably the best Crash Bandicoot game to be honest. And although I will say one thing, the music in Crash 4 not as good as previous Crash Bandicoot games. Like, do you remember how you'd like play like the bear level, and it's got like that fun music where it's like it's like yeah that like this new game has way too much fucking marimba. Like you know how Crash Bandicoot's like a theme is like do 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 do. No, you're gonna hear it when you play this game. You're gonna be like, this fucking marimba is everywhere. It's like the main Crash Bandicoot theme is like the da, 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 and it's played on a marimba, right? Every single track in the game has a marimba, and it's like, God, come on, guys, like, come on, you can experiment. Like, think about the surfing levels in Crash 2, where it's like, no fucking marimba, and it's a good ass song. Yeah. So Crash Bandicoot's 4 soundtrack not as good. They also have some fun levels where you can play as other characters.
I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Country-esque.
Yeah, kind of. You can play as
I know you can rotate in that, but
yeah, you can play as well. First of all, in general, you can play as Coco Bandicoot or Crash Bandicoot whenever you want, which is tight because Coco Bandicoot's better than Crash Bandicoot. Just saying. And then
why?
Because she's tighter. She got a laptop and she jumps around.
She does have a laptop.
Mhm.
Crash is like her idiot fuck up brother.
Honestly,
but he's good at smashing boxes.
He honestly is. And then you can play as Neo Cortex. You can play as Dingodile. I know you've been just itching to play as Dingodile.
Well, can't you also play as? There's some woman, right?
Oh
with
yeah,
like,
so Tana, who was the Crash Bandicoot's girlfriend in the first game, got a complete makeover, and she's not like a bimbo. Now she's like an actual cool character.
She's like a bit. She looks more like what's her name from Overwatch?
Which one? There's a bunch of those. Oh, Zarya.
Yeah, she looks more Zarya.
Yeah, she's kind of like strong and big, and she's kind of fun to play as. But all those other characters have like a bonus move, you know, that they do. Like Tana can like shoot out like a little rope, and Dinkodile's got like a suck up Luigi's Mansion vacuum, and they're fun. I like that they kind of change up the pace. I fucking hate playing as Neo Cortex though. He feels like ass. Yeah, he fucking sucks, and I hate like hearing him talk. Like it's like, no, you're a fucking bad guy. Go away. But yeah, Crash Bandicoot is really good. I'm a big fan. It's really hard in a lot of sections, but it's fine because of the lives counter thing. You know,
It's like good
yeah.
hard, like
and
fun hard.
you die and you're back. Like that's another thing.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do deaths like that,
Yeah.
you got to bring your player right back to the game. You know,
Yeah.
because I hate when a game like kills you and then it's like, okay, you got to walk the
Load 'em
exact
back
same
up.
path that you did, like, you know. And it's not like I hate games that do this all the time, because there's certainly like older games that do this a lot. But I was thinking about this because I was playing it, and I was saying, you know what it is, you know what I was doing is I was playing Super Mario 64, and when you die in that game, you do have to go through the level again. But the difference is your character has to be fun to fucking control. Like, think about Dark Souls. Like, if you die in that game, you have to go back to the
you gotta fucking
yeah, you go back to the fire, and then you like have to trudge your, like, honestly, does Dark Souls like feel good to walk back to the boss with, you know? No. And then like in Mario, if you die, you can fucking go like, okay, long jump, triple flip, yahoo,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. It just fucking feels good.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, is that you, for a good platformer especially, is that your game has to fucking feel good when moving around. And Crash Bandicoot feels good now, so I'm super happy. Anyways, we already talked about Star Wars Squadrons. I only want to briefly mention The Last of Us. I've just been not trudging, that kind of has a negative connotation to it, but I'm playing Last of Us just for recording purposes so I can make a video about it. And the game's really fucking good, man. I do, Alex, I know you were going to play it eventually, but...
I'm currently playing it, but in short spurts, because
okay.
it doesn't... I think what you're getting to, it doesn't seem to flow well, and I don't mean that the pacing or anything's off, but I just, like, I can't get myself to play it for more than, like, 45 minutes at a time.
I think that game is the best paced game of all time.
Yeah, like
I can't play it for more than like 45 minutes or an hour. I think the pacing of those sections I play is super well done, like between walking and then having an encounter versus solving something.
Well, it is a very like dramatic game, of course. It's like, I mean, maybe like
it's more like sitting down to watch a movie or a show.
Right. But like, I'm still on edge at certain points where I don't need to be, and so like at a certain point I'm just like, okay, that's enough of that feeling for a day. Like, I'm enjoying where it's going.
No, that's fine.
It's because it's like intense, not because
because it's poorly done, but like
it's gonna take you an eternity to get through part 2 if that's the case.
Oh yeah. Part 2.
But like, I do enjoy it. Like, I just got to where you meet up with their buddy Bill.
Oh yeah.
And like, you fall into the trap, and it's a shooting gallery while you're hanging upside down. And
that
Ellie's
section is so fucking good.
And that was awesome. Like, I was enjoying myself so much. It was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, rogue thing to throw into. It's like, I'm really enjoying the game.
Yeah, that moment is such a great like upheaval of like the rest of the game, you know?
Yeah, because I thought it was gonna stay a cutscene or just, oh, she'll get him down and rush or whatever, and suddenly it's like, oh nope, shooting.
Yeah, I will say this: I actually restarted The Last of Us because I was playing on grounded mode, which is the hardest possible mode. Fuck that mode. Anybody who fucking says go play that, like that's the definitive version, fuck that. Like it's so mind-numbingly hard, and that game it is the exact problem I mentioned, which is it makes you replay these sections, you know?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you exactly where I fucking quit.
I've died a few times.
That moment, Alex, one of my favorite moments in that game, which is that hanging upside down part, is a fucking nightmare if you're playing on like the hardest difficulty, because not only does the cutscene not save immediately after, like, or prior to the battle, you have to watch the stupid ass animation of Joel getting lifted up by his leg and then waiting for Ellie to hop on the refrigerator and then cut the rope. Geez. And I had to watch it like 15 times, and I was like, fuck this, I'm fucking over it, like I'm not doing this. So I restarted the game on a lower difficulty, and I'm having a lot
kind of wild you can't change it on the fly.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed to find that out, but it's definitely a different experience. I do not recommend grounded mode on Last of Us. It kind of forces you to play in a way that is like too safe, you know, because the whole idea is that like it's super, like there's not resources anywhere, so you have to like be super stealthy, but then it's like it's forcing you to be stealthy in every single encounter, which isn't fun, you know.
Yeah, because honestly, like I get kind of sick of it. There are certain encounters where I'm like, let me just go in guns blazing and find my way through this.
Yeah.
I have a question which will switch us gears. I don't know if you have more to say, Cody. I feel like we can't say too much because Alex is currently playing it.
Yeah. I need to refocus on it, but I am enjoying it.
That's fine.
But my gear switch real quick is kind of inspired by us talking about Crash Bandicoot, but I didn't know that Sly Cooper is not available on PlayStation 4.
It's fucking upsetting.
Yeah,
They-
I know.
It was available on PS3, but guess where else? It was put on the PS Vita, the
That's
collection.
weird.
Yeah, and I'm sure it was just to try to sell Vitas.
Yeah. Well,
So
because
I love the Crash games.
you mean
Or
the
sorry, fucking Sly
Ban-
games, yeah.
Sly Cooper, Sly Bandicoot.
Yeah,
Sly Bandicoot.
No,
Crash
Sly Cooper. That's one of my favorite series too. Actually, is
Yeah.
but that's another one that struggled with the life counter too. The first one's
yeah.
alive.
Well, the first one is like honestly like a completely different video game.
It
from 2 and
is.
3.
It's much more platformer than
Yeah.
Explore and Steal.
Yeah.
Crash-
Yeah,
Or
I
Slide
never
2 is
played
one of my
through
favorite
all
games.
of- I don't think I played 3 at all, and I don't know if I beat 2, but I liked them. I
Dude,
just
they're tight.
fell off.
They're really really good.
But I
Yeah,
would love,
Slide 2 is an incredible game.
yeah, I would love to play these. But did either of you ever play the latest one?
Sly 4.
Four?
So
No.
I have a major problem with that video game.
What?
And I mean, no one's ever gonna play this game because they're never gonna fucking put it out, and who cares? It's like story
Why
of a Sly
not?
Cooper game. Well, they're never gonna do it because they're okay. They're not even gonna make that movie anymore. By the way, they canceled it. Sly Cooper
Well,
movie.
yeah,
Super
I knew
sad.
that was going to happen. But
And Sucker
Why are
Punch
they-
doesn't make those games anymore. Sucker Punch makes the what's it called? The what are they called? What's that game called? Injustice?
Mhm.
Not Injustice.
What?
Infamous.
No, I think you're right.
Infamous.
Yeah, Infamous.
Anyways, they
Still, what a weird shift. Although I
Yeah.
guess Naughty Dog makes Last of Us. So.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So,
What
anyways,
the
Sly 4, Sly 3 rather. Sly 3 introduces this character that Bentley kind of like falls in love with,
Mhm.
and Sly 4, like the end of Sly. I mean, okay, spoiler. The end of Sly 3, like everybody kind of goes their separate ways, right? Like
Right.
they do the mission, and then everybody's like, oh, we're all fine, you know, and they're all just, and then Sly 4 begins with that exact scenario, and then all of a sudden like shit starts disappearing. Like I think the Thievius Raccoonus starts disappearing or something, and so they have to like go through time to like bring it back. But the whole crux of it is that that girl that was that Bentley fell in love with, for some reason, like is the villain of that game and is stealing the Thievius Raccoonus to destroy Sly Cooper's family. Because
Why?
yeah, it doesn't make fucking sense.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I think
a
that
weird thing. Just
I think
pull
they were
out.
because they were saying like, oh, like she was jealous because Bentley was like hanging out with Sly. And just like, no, he's fucking not. Like they literally went their separate
Yeah,
ways.
They just met.
Yeah. So it was like a weird like wait, the story of this game doesn't make any fucking sense. But it's fine because I mean you'll never play it again, so it's all it doesn't matter, I guess.
That's not true. I don't agree. I don't think that that's true. I think at some point they'll put Sly Cooper out again, maybe on the PS5.
Maybe. So
I'm
actually, I
told-
can tell you. Do
I
you know
mean,
where? Do you know where the Sly Cooper trilogy is available? If you want to play it on PS4,
Where?
your favorite service on the planet.
Oh,
PS
fucking
Now.
PS Now or
Yeah.
something. They're literally holding it hostage to get you to sign up for shit or buy a Vita or something.
Yeah.
I did use that at one point because I saw it was the only way to do it. So I was like, okay, I'll download it. And that's where I was like, oh, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Although,
Okay.
can't you download them now?
That I don't know. I'd have to look
I
it up.
think now you can download the games and
I just
play
remember I had to go. I got put in a queue to play Sly Cooper 2. And I was like, what the hell's
Yeah,
going
that's
on?
fucking- Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like a library.
Yeah, it's a single player game. Like what?
Yeah. Well, that's a slant
This is
against.
a digital service.
Yeah, streaming games in general is going to be a rocky road for a while.
Yeah.
But anyways, Sly Cooper is a great series. But again, Sucker Punch doesn't make those games anymore. So if that game does get picked up, it's going to be what happened to Crash Bandicoot, where a completely fucking different company
Yeah.
picks it up. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
but that could be a good thing because it might be a company who's like, hey, we'd like to do that, which is
Yeah.
usually better than someone who's like, we are obligated to do this.
Yeah. Well, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken, let me double check. The company that made Crash Bandicoot 4, if I'm
Toys
not
for Bob.
mistaken, Toys for Bob. If I'm not mistaken, they are the company that did the Insane trilogy. So and they obviously they weren't like, oh, you know what? Okay, here's what it is. You know what's crazy is that they didn't do the original game. It was a company called Vicarious Visions.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy on the Switch was ported by this company, Toys for Bob.
Hmm.
And so
Oh.
so the company that ported it made the sequel.
Yeah, well, it says that I'm looking on their Wikipedia. It says they assisted with the development of the modern remakes of Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy and Spyro.
Hell yeah,
Hmm.
they got all
So
them
I
good
wonder if
Sony
a new
games.
Spyro game is coming.
Man, that would be
As well.
cool.
If
Spyro
Crash,
Spyro needs to come back from his hell that was Skylanders for like a
So
Yeah.
decade.
I need to finish playing the
I
Spyro
I need to do that too. I should pop that in.
Good game too.
because that is just fun. That's just
I'm gonna do that
casual.
before. Honestly, like I was having a fucking blast playing Spyro again.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good
it's
game.
awesome.
Very fun game.
Wait,
Very 90s
so-
game. I love the soundtrack to that game.
Yeah.
Okay, so Vicarious Visions and published by Action. I'm sorry, I was trying to see what Toys for Bob did on the Insane trilogy. Then
Mm-hmm.
that is very interesting, though, that they made the sequel.
Yeah. I mean, but you know what? That speaks to what you were saying, Austin, which was like this company like said, "Oh, hey, we really like this," you know,
Yeah, they
and
chose to do it.
yeah, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, let's do this."
Because I feel like that way with just people, like if someone is like everyone gets excited when they're like, oh, this person who made this original movie is coming back to do another one, and like that's not always a good thing. Sometimes it's better to get someone who is currently on the wavelength of that original thing
Yeah.
instead of someone who, yeah, they're the person who did it, but it's been, years and they've moved on and they're going to give you something very Ridley Scott did not want to make Alien. He
Yeah.
wanted to make Prometheus. And yeah, it's not great, but like I was interested in what Prometheus was beyond the first movie more than I was in Prometheus 2 just becoming so much Alien 5.
Yeah.
But everyone was like, it's not Alien, therefore I hate it. And I was like, well, fuck, he made Alien 40 years ago at this point. Like, and so yeah, sometimes it's better to get someone who's like,
Yeah. Well, you know what
I like
series
that original thing.
you know what series has kind of seen every aspect of that is the Star Wars franchise, because it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
oh, we have the people I mean we literally have every angle, you know. We have like the people who made the series originally, George Lucas type stuff, and then we have
got the
him
fanboys.
yeah, and then we have his version of it again later, and then we have the fanboy version
Shotgun
of
attack.
yeah, and then we have like
Yeah.
the fanboy like good version, and then we have the fanboy bad version, you know. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
When you say good version and bad version, you don't mean episode 7 and episode 9. You mean Dave Filoni and JJ Abrams,
when I'm
right?
yeah, that's exactly what I mean. That's
Okay.
exactly what I mean. Yes. Because
Okay.
we have like because watching that documentary on Mandalorian like really kind of like opened my eyes
I
to
haven't
like
watched the whole thing.
I mean it's not like the most important thing to watch. It's mostly just the directors jerking themselves off about how much they
Yeah,
love Star
very
Wars.
much so.
But it was cool to see. There's a moment. I don't know if you've seen this yet, Austin, but there's a moment, and Alex, you watched it, right?
No, I've watched at least some of it.
Yeah, there's a moment where Dave Filoni is explaining this story thread from episode 1 all the way to episode
about
6.
this. See that.
It's honestly like it kind of like fucking got me, man. Like I was like, oh man, Star Wars is fucking beautiful. Like this was
Mhm.
this was all a part of the plan. Good job, George Lucas.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it was
Filoni is the master of infilling all the little cracks
Yeah.
and stuff. and
Filoni uses like fanboy reference stuff in a good, like a really
Yeah,
great
he
way. Like he
creates
does
it.
enough of it. And
Yeah.
and the fact that he uses everything he's involved in, whoever's decision it is, I'm assuming he's part of it, but everything he's involved in, they use a lot of the old oh my god, what is his name? The guy who did the concept art, Ralph. No, I keep wanting to say Ralph Bakshi, and that's not it.
hold
what the
on,
fuck?
I know what it is. Ralph, what's it? Q something?
What Ralph McQuarrie?
McQuarrie, yes.
Yeah. And he's Ralph McQuarrie is and so you see a lot of that stuff show up in all the Dave Filoni headed stuff. Like
Yeah.
even Darth Vader's look in Rebels
Mhm.
is very similar to what he, and in Clone Wars at this point, spoiler alert, is very similar to a lot of that Ralph McQuarrie concept art. Even Zeb isn't he a rejected Wookiee
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
and he just repurposed it as a new
New race.
became
species, which
Boba
just
Fett.
everything feels so much like it belongs because it literally is stuff that you've probably seen in
Yeah.
that world.
It's
as
a
concept.
deeper appreciation for Star Wars beyond the original trilogy, which is
Yes. Which is fucking important.
yeah, because I mean
Because-
obviously the original trilogy is what it is, but it's so like important,
It's so much bigger now.
and bigger,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and that's the difference between J.J. Abrams and Dave Filoni's crew, is that it's just like
Yeah.
one is emulating the franchise and one is emulating 3 movies,
Yeah, and like
Um,
those, and the prequels are not good movies, obviously, but like at this point, like we grew up with Star Wars video games that were a lot of prequel era stuff, and I
Yeah.
like a lot of the designs. I like a lot of the world, like,
Yeah.
and Clone Wars has made it totally cool story wise in many ways.
Right.
too.
Oh
But,
yeah,
like,
dude, kids
I'm
fucking.
down to pilot a Naboo starfighter. That's cool. Like, give
Yeah,
me this shit.
I also like how he showed the pre-generations of everything, and you can see directly how they turned into it.
Yeah,
He raps so well, and that's why like I've always been. I know you guys are all about the movies. I'm more into the shows because I more care about seeing more aspects of that world and stuff that Filoni's so good at teasing through.
yeah,
Necessarily than these big blockbuster events.
yes.
Like obviously I still love them, but the Filoni thing like that captures my attention more.
Yeah,
Alright.
but I mean, if the blockbuster events were better than they are, I think you would be excited about them. But the problem is when they're making the same movie over and over. Luckily, we at least got The Last Jedi, so we didn't have to worry about that there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Whatever you say.
Last Jedi is awesome, and it's the only one of those movies that is good as a movie.
That's
It's not perfect as a movie.
Not saying much.
Okay, we don't need to go past this particular discussion.
Anyway.
Anyways, that was our conversation about Crash Bandicoot.
about Crash Bandicoot.
All right, so that's video games. I haven't played apparently Resident Evil 4 2, but I've only played the first beginning of that game, and
The
it's
only
fun.
thing
Yeah,
I'll
it's cool.
say before you jump to news, very excited to check out Divinity Original Sin.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
By the way,
downloaded it
Alex,
as we were
I-
playing.
Question.
As we've been talking.
everything I'm reading says that Divinity is only 4 players in
So-
part 2.
So when you, okay,
Yeah,
No,
I was
'cause
about to
looked-
say, are you
I
guys
looked
talking
up,
about
'cause
the
when you
first game or the
download
second
Enhan-
game?
when you download Enhanced Edition, you get Classic and Enhanced.
I'm pretty sure Divinity 1 Enhanced is also only 2. I think
I just Googled
Enhanced
it.
is where they added co-op.
I just looked it up. It said,
wasn't- Really?
yeah, Divinity Original Edition Enhanced. How many players is Divinity Original Sin Enhanced Edition? 4 people can play.
Really?
Hmm.
Yeah.
That is okay. Everything I'm reading says 2 players. Absolutely everything.
Okay, hold on. Someone here says, okay, yeah. Hold
I think
on.
there are mods that allow you to play more
This should
people.
be, with a mod. And
Yeah.
somehow that's what Google pulled up was a
Yes.
second tier Reddit comment with
Yeah.
1 point.
Oh, that's
So
the-
yes, the first one is only 2 players, which is
Okay.
something we did not realize.
Well,
So
I downloaded it, so I'm going to be playing through it.
yes,
All right.
I mean, I would like to play it too. I mean,
Yeah.
I was like telling you guys, like, hey,
I
we
know.
should check this game out. But it is.
But if we want to do it with all of us, then we can
we would
pick
have
up
to do
the
part 2
second
or a
one.
mod.
Oh, I forgot
But
to
anyway,
check what I
Cody,
had
you
that
were
on.
moving to news, right?
News.
Yeah, sorry.
It's time for news. There's a few things I want to talk about. First on the list
New
is
cereal.
a new cereal, Cyber
New
Crunch.
cereal. Cyber Crunch 2077.
Cyber, actually, I mean, honestly, that would be a pretty fucking like good crossover like merchandising thing they should do.
Yeah. Cyber Crunch.
And it would actually no, it'd be awful because what this actually is about is their crunch at the studio. So yeah, the game's coming out soon. I think Alex mentioned like 5 weeks from now. It's coming up soon.
Yeah, that's what I saw on Reddit.
And
Not that I'm following
CD
closely.
Projekt Red is it's like everybody's fucking favorite developer because they they supposedly have great work environments and all this other stuff. I cannot speak to all of that because I don't work there. There are so many conflicting stories and so many different things about it, but they promised they weren't going to do crunch for Cyberpunk, which means basically working extra time over the weekend or late into nights. And crunch is a just in the industry, in the video game industry, and this is every industry, but specifically in the video game industry, just a fucking nightmare because you take these passionate people that are like super excited to play these video games. And then you say, hey, if you want to finish this video game, you got to come in on Saturday. You got to come in on Sunday. And it kind of fucking sucks. And these developers need to unionize, is what I'm trying to say, somehow, because it just needs to go. Like, these people are overworked and they get burnt out so much. Like, I've read so many stories of people like exiting the industry because they're like, I can't fucking do this, And it seems to happen on every single AAA game, Like, if this was like an isolated incident, sure, but it's fucking everywhere, and now it's on everybody's fucking favorite little developer studio, CD Projekt Red. There's so many different reports of like, oh, like, of course I'm okay with it. Like, I want to get the game done, but fuck that. Like, you're taking advantage of a passionate person, when you can just delay the game. It's fucking fine. Just delay the game. It's fine, you know?
I don't understand. Like, maybe they shouldn't set release dates until they're fucking sure they can deliver it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, that
That's
might
partly
be...
on the marketing department for sure.
Yeah. I mean, dude, they announced Cyberpunk like 8 years ago. I remember making a list of games I wanted to buy on the PlayStation 4 like 6 months before it came out, and Cyberpunk was one of them.
And now you'll never get to buy it on the PlayStation 4.
I know, right? Well,
Yeah.
it's coming out on PlayStation 4. It's just not going to
Oh.
it's going to be on both consoles.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't delayed. We talked about that earlier. I thought
Well,
it was.
it was delayed, but the most, I think you were thinking there was another delay.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's what I meant.
But anyways, yeah, crunch fucking sucks, and I often think about what the future of Dill games may or may not be, and I'm like, if I were to ever make a game studio in any way, that would be my number one fucking priority. Like, I know, like, that's why, like, I mean, not to delve too much in my business plans, but that's why my whole concept was like, hey, have additional income, you know, because like how many different studios come out and put out a video game and then you never fucking hear from them again, you know, because they either had their success or they didn't, and then they are unable to channel it into something else, you know. That's why I think like if you are some sort of studio like this, you need to find like an additional method of income, because that would allow you to put out the fucking game whenever you want, you know, like just say, hey, we're gonna work on this for 10 fucking years, I don't give a fuck, you know. Like, but we still have money coming in.
But to make stuff, like, for that to be your job, that's not how it works. You can't work on it for 10 years and put it out whenever you're ready.
I know, that's why I'm saying, like, whatever studio is, you know, whatever you work for, like, that studio needs to diversify, you know, in a way, like whatever that way is. And I'm not saying everybody needs to do this, it doesn't work for everybody, of course, but that's my idea of how you could remedy it, you know.
What other revenue streams would a game studio bring in?
I don't know, that's the question. I mean, obviously, like, with the digital age, there's like so many,
Yeah,
like,
you can blur the lines real easy and just be kind of a content house.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's kind of oh shit, I totally forgot to put something in the news. Hold on. Let me get the article for it while you guys talk about crunch. Talk about crunch.
Love Cyber Crunch. I like the marshmallow version better than the version without marshmallows, and I like to do it with chocolate milk because Cyber Crunch 2077 is just a chocolate cereal to me. Those are my thoughts on Cyber Crunch 2077.
I mean, I work in an industry where crunch is very common.
Yeah, movies have it too, obviously.
Yeah. So
I feel like every industry has it, you know.
Yeah, they do, right? But industries that are specifically under like very specific timelines, whether set by marketing or contract or whatever.
Yeah.
Like obviously it's worse in those, which is not every industry per se.
Sure.
But I think gaming has a worse problem with it, or it's an unnecessary point in gaming, I think.
Yeah.
To the extreme it is, where like if you delay it, you just delay it. It still gets to come out.
It seems like every game has it to the extreme, and to the point where like, if they don't crunch, the game is broken.
Exactly. That's what it is.
That's what's weird is like I understand a crunch of like, all right, we've got this is the last week. There's this
Animal Crossing did it, right?
Like, but the crunches always seem, the stuff I hear, it always seems like the game is not in shape to release unless we work for 300 hours a week, which is insane.
It's just weird. Because like you could delay them. I don't know. I come from construction, so like it's like, oh well, you don't get your building. Like you don't get to like you physically can't do whatever you built a building to do.
Yeah, and
I don't mean to downplay what gaming is, but like to me at least, the consequences don't seem as dire if you delay. I understand that it might be for certain companies' finances and stuff, obviously.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is that if for the most part, it is. I mean, it is most video games, period. But it's every fucking AAA game that ever comes out, ever, you know. And so, like, you're telling me that like Activision, who is worth like $10 billion or whatever the hell it is, like, they can't afford to like let their employees like not kill themselves over a video game that either like is going to be incredible or is just going to be another FIFA, you know, like I don't know. It just seems like there's got to be another way. And I'll mention a company that I think has fucking got it right, but we're going to talk about them for another reason.
FIFA and Madden infuriate me so much.
Anyways, next news. Alex, Austin,
Yeah.
how excited are you that you can play as Steve in Super Smash Brothers now from
I don't
Minecraft?
give a shit. I wish it was Crash Bandicoot.
I don't like it.
So
I love Minecraft, and I don't like this.
yeah, so I don't actually have like a ton of experience with Minecraft. Probably the first year or two when it came out, I played like a bunch, and then it kind of just fell off for me. But I mean, dude, Minecraft is. I mean, when you're talking about video games, like Minecraft is the fucking video game. You know, like that game. It's the highest selling. First of all, highest selling video game of all time. So like that just on its own is a huge like get for Nintendo. You know, to put that in the game. And it's just kind of crazy like how much they incorporate like what Minecraft is into Super Smash Brothers. You know, like a lot of these new DLC characters feel like they are literally ripped out of their video game and put into Smash Brothers, you know, and not just like, oh, you can play as fucking Spawn in Soul Calibur 2, you know, like it's not like just a
It's
random
not just
addition.
like a skin over another character or something.
Exactly. And it's, I mean, it conceptually really cool. Steve fucking feels weird as hell to play as, but I mean, other people are happy, and I got Banjo, so they can fucking have anybody they want. I don't care who gets in the game at this point.
You cut out when you said that, so it sounded like you said, "I got Banjo, so they can fuck whoever anybody they want."
I mean, I don't know who else they're gonna put in the game. They could put all sorts of very sexual characters in. We'll see.
More Bayonetta.
They could put a second Bayonetta. They'll put Bayonetta 3 in there whenever the hell that game comes out.
Yeah.
Right. Anyways, that's just Steve. Steve is interesting. But yeah. Anyways, next. Have you guys heard a single thing about the Avengers game that came out?
I've heard that it's meh
Yes.
at best.
So this is a extremely large AAA video game, multiplayer focused AAA video game that I think less than a month after it's come out has less than 1,000 players on it total.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Which is an abysmal number.
That's insane.
Yeah, all I've heard about this game is that the loop of it is extremely shitty. Like it's kind of like Diablo in the sense where you have to like grind like out missions to get you know, abilities or costumes or shorts or pants or to upgrade your fucking Thor's hammer or whatever. And but apparently it's just feels like shit to play, and the rewards are bad. And I always said this, like, not to bemoan the voice actors or anything, but I always thought like the game kind of looked really like not good. Like, remember the scene
weirdly stilted or something.
Yeah.
Like,
do you remember the scene in Spaceballs when they jump out over through the door and then they captured them and they're like, "You idiots! These are our stunt doubles!" Like,
yeah,
especially coming off like because E3 happened like a month or two after Avengers Endgame, right?
Yeah.
And then they announced that game, and then they were like, "Hey, these are the guys you know and love." And I'm like, "No, that fucking isn't."
Well, that's the weird thing is that like they're not the movie versions, but they're not really just the comics either.
It's like a weird mishmash of both, right?
I'm looking at the pictures now, and like Cap, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, and Iron Man look like they're supposed to. They look like off-brand movie versions.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that but the comics, like they could have done a different style. Like Black Widow looks weird as hell.
Yeah,
she looks like she's in a wig.
Her hair is wild.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, I don't actually think I know a single person that has played this game. So I mean, that goes to show, just like, you know.
Here's a big thing. You know, Alex Norkis.
Yeah.
Biggest like Avengers, especially movie like MCU fan you'll meet, and he was like, "I'm not buying that shit." Like, I couldn't believe it when he was like, "Nope."
Yeah. So I don't know anything about it besides like it's just, you know what it is, it's just sad to see, you know, because obviously this studio worked really hard on it, but to see like this is a large problem with all multiplayer games in general, is that there's a time limit of how long you can play this video game, you know, because there's going to be a day where they shut off the servers to this and you cannot fucking play it anymore, you know. So that's one thing that I don't think I'm looking forward to for a lot of multiplayer games like this that I fucking loved. Like, not that I'll go back and fucking play Overwatch, you know, in 8 years, but
I probably would. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what Overwatch 2 is at the end of the day, but anyways, that's wild. The same thing kind of happened to Anthem, which was EA's and BioWare's.
Oh,
Anthem got out real fast.
You gotta watch the beginning of that girlfriend review of Star Wars where they're like, "Oh, let's take the fucking company that made." Wait, who did Anthem?
BioWare.
Oh, that's what I thought. They're like, let's take the company that made the best single player
RPG experience ever.
RPG or whatever, and let's have them make fucking Anthem a big multiplayer game.
Yeah.
And then let's take the multiplayer company and have them make the single player game.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like I think for the most part it worked for the second part.
It did.
But it is crazy that BioWare, like Anthem, the flying looked cool,
Yeah.
but nothing else looked very appealing to me. It was very colorful too. Like I'll give it that.
Yeah.
But I just didn't give a shit. I don't really fuck with multiplayer games that much, you know.
Yeah.
I wish I did more, but I just don't.
That's what Avengers is. Same idea. It's literally.
Yeah,
I go ahead.
did not know that Avengers was a multiplayer game like that. I thought it was just a like a AAA like action adventure game.
Yeah. Well, that's I think it would have been better if it was that, honestly, because I feel like that's
absolutely
what people would
think
want.
it would have been better.
Anyways, so next news article I'm bringing up because I had a student who told me, like, Mr. Dill, did you hear about this? And I was like, what is it? And he's like, Sony's going to be monitoring all of your conversations on the PS5, and they're going to, if they hear anything bad, they're going to ban you. And I was like, that seems insane, first of all.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way some guy is just sitting there listening to all of your conversations. And, okay. And second of all, even if they were, I don't think I'm that opposed to it. Like,
Well,
because
considering some of the shit people say on video games.
exactly, because this is what it is it's not them recording your stuff. It's somebody, if you're in a party with somebody, they can record the conversation then and then send it off and say, hey, this guy said some fucking racist shit.
So it's literally like reporting a comment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not even that bad. Like,
So guess what? Don't say something if you are worried you're going to get in trouble for it.
exactly. If you wouldn't say it in person, you're not going to say it online either. That sounds like a
Exactly.
fucking good thing to me.
I think, yeah, that's a good thing. Totally a good thing.
Yeah. So I think it honestly only pisses off like 12-year-olds who like to say the N-word when they're playing
Yeah.
Call of Duty, you know? Like, oh, boo-hoo, now you can't be a racist piece of shit. Oh, no. Ha ha.
Like we never did that. Like it's such a weird thing.
I always heard it while playing, but I
heard
never.
it all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
We didn't do that.
Yeah. I mean, we'd be like rude to people, you know, just to like
Oh
make fun
no,
of them.
we
but-
would probably. I'm sure we said stuff that like now we'd be like, whoa, we said that, but we didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't say that.
Yeah, we didn't do that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm not that opposed to this if this is what it actually is.
Yeah. I just saw a rant yesterday. It was like, no, Sony won't be listening to your conversation. I was like, why would they? That would
Yeah.
take so much effort.
Yeah, like, can you imagine like this poor employee at Sony just like sitting at a desk listening to these kids playing their fucking video game? Like,
Yeah.
little Johnny just said the N-word. Let's crack down on him. No, that's fortunately. Well, fortunately and unfortunately, it's not that. Anyways, let's keep going. So this next thing is more of a personal thing. It's not really a news article, but there was this game that Ubisoft announced called Gods and Monsters, and I was really into the concept. It's they basically said, hey, we want to make ancient Greece Breath of the Wild, and I was like, oh, that sounds
that's great.
cool. And I'm kind of down for another company to take the formula of Breath of the Wild and do their spin on it, you know? Because Zelda as a series does not have a lot of clones, you know?
Yeah.
And
Well,
it doesn't, honestly. What's out there? What's like Zelda?
I mean, I feel like just most like adventure games in many ways are similar.
Yeah, but I mean, like name one.
Tomb Raider games have similar aspects to Zelda games.
Yeah. But I mean, that's kind of it. But you know what it is too? It's like also like art style in general too. Like these are all like hyper realistic adventure games and not
That's true.
not like a colorful fantasy game. So anyways, I'm kind of down for it. But the reason I mention it is because they changed the name of the game. Because I'm pretty sure there was two reasons. Number one is that Monster Energy had some shit to say about it, which is weird as hell because it's fucking who's going to confuse a video game with an energy drink. And then the other one was there's a movie starring Brendan Fraser called Gods and Monsters.
Oh, wow.
And I think that's the reason why they're not doing it. But anyways, they changed it to the worst fucking name on the planet. It sounds like the most generic video game ever.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Wow.
This is exactly how I felt when I heard the title Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh no, same. You're totally right. Like it's a bad name.
Feeling was like, what is this?
Tells
Yeah.
you nothing.
Yeah. And I guess Phoenix is the name of the character, but it's like Immortals Phoenix Rising sounds like every video game that's ever come out. You
It is
know?
a shit. I mean, to be honest, Gods and Monsters isn't a great name either, but it's simple enough that it's like this is what you're playing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Immortals Phoenix Rising, it doesn't. Does it even have a colon?
No.
So it's Immortals Phoenix. What
So
is that even?
It's multiple immortals. Phoenix is their immortal rising.
Yeah. It's a very bad video game name.
Yeah.
Yeah, what
Anyways,
is-
Speaking of Brendan Fraser, though, I just saw on Reddit his original website is up, and it's like straight up from the early 2000s.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like never been updated.
That's because
It's great.
Brendan Fraser's tight. All right.
Yeah,
Anyways,
Brendan
that's a bad video game name. And not to bemoan your favorite little Metroidvania type game, Austin, but it did remind me of those titles where it's like, oh man, this doesn't sound like anything to me. Like these are all English words that you're putting together, but they mean nothing to when you put them together. Anyways, that's that. So, a couple more. Let's run through these quick, just because I gotta go. We're getting late. StarCraft 2. It's officially kind of dead. Like they're not doing any real development on it, which is really sad.
Oh.
We were just
I
talking
mean,
about
that
how
game's like 10 years old, isn't it?
it is, but it's just kind of sad because that was like the last major RTS, you know?
Yeah.
And it'll be sad to kind of like, I don't know what shoes are going to fill. And I think I mentioned either last episode or the episode before that about how they left StarCraft off of like the earnings call where they said, oh, we're developing Overwatch 2 and Hearthstone, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't even mention the series StarCraft, you know? So it's like, we may not see a StarCraft game for a very, very long time, if at all.
Well, I mean, you didn't see one for a long time between 1 and 2, right?
I know, but again, it's been 10 years since StarCraft 2, you know?
Yeah,
So,
but wasn't it longer than that between StarCraft 1 and 2?
not really. StarCraft 2 came out maybe
2010.
2020. Yeah, it was 98. That's only 12 years. Only 12
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
I know. But
We've
anyways,
got 2
it's
more years.
we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so I'm sad because I fucking love StarCraft and I love that game. So, all right, Alex, you play Animal Crossing. Austin, you do too. You want to go to
Mhm.
Joe Biden Island?
Oh, I heard
What?
about this. Yeah.
What?
Joe Biden has a Animal Crossing island, and he
Oh my
wants you to come
God.
visit it.
No, absolutely
Very
not.
weird. Very weird.
I
Yeah,
want to go to
don't-
Joe Biden Island.
Weird frame way to perform outreach.
I'm down for it. Did you know AOC has an Animal Crossing island and she went around visiting people?
Yeah, I know that, but
that
that's
doesn't
different.
surprise me.
That's
See,
like-
AOC would actually play that video game, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Joe
Having
Biden-
someone who actually plays versus someone who paid a staffer to set up an island and be like, I'm Joe Biden is like,
I know. No, I totally understand. Like the how do you do, fellow kids? You know.
yeah.
But I just thought that was funny. I'd like.
yeah,
to
AOC's only like a year older than me.
I
Like
know.
a year, 2 months, almost to the
Yeah.
day. Like,
She plays League of
much
Legends.
more
fun
accomplished.
fact. She plays a lot of League of Legends.
what a nerd.
Yeah, what a nerd. Who plays video games? All right, I want to end on something crazy. Have you guys heard anything about? Okay, two
I've-
questions. First question: do you know anything about Rooster Teeth in 2020?
I know it's a content creation thing on YouTube.
So
and
my
I
experience with
know
Rooster
there's a
Teeth.
bunch of drama that's been on Reddit.
Yeah, Austin has a very similar experience with Rooster Teeth, which was Red versus Blue back in the
Red
day.
versus-
Right. Oh, so yeah, I know them for that.
Yeah,
too.
and that's all I thought they were for like decades. you
Isn't
know,
that what they were for most of that time?
not really. They've kind of like branched out. They
Okay,
so
I mean,
Yeah, no.
recently they've done more, but
So
I thought
I'm
that
telling
was
you right now-
recent
Years
development.
now, don't they do that like anime, like Ruby or
yes,
something?
yes, they
Oh,
do an
really?
anime. No, they have like this is what I'm talking about with like diversification of like your media brand, right? Is that they do fucking everything. They
I
they
think
do
what you're saying is that companies shouldn't be game studios; they should be media brands.
kind of honestly.
Yeah,
because
well-
it's a way, you know what it is, it's just a way to preserve what you are longer than just the video game that you're making, you know, because in your game may not, I mean, there are so many studios that put out games that don't go anywhere, you know, I mean, there's
Yeah.
literally millions, you know, and this is kind of what I think a lot more people should do. This is what it is. I don't think everybody should do this, but more people should do this, you know. And they have a game studio too. I've never played any of their games, but they have games that they make. But anyways, the reason we're talking about Rooster Teeth is because a member of Rooster Teeth that I didn't even know who they were until this, because honestly, I only knew about Red versus Blue Rooster Teeth. He's a fucking asshole. Alex, you were reading about it, but Austin, have you heard anything about him? Ryan
And I'm
Haywood.
looking at it now.
I only saw the headlines. I didn't actually read any of
So
the details.
he's a fucking rapist. Like he's like a serial rapist, like underage,
What the fuck?
talking to underage girls, having them send pictures back and forth between him and them, having sex with people, being extremely graphically rough with them. Like he's just a shit ass dude, you know. And he's been in the company for like a decade. And apparently, like, the reason this is such a big, thing is because Rooster Teeth is like scrubbing everything, as they probably should. Like they're literally getting rid of like decades worth of content because of this guy, which they should. They should distance themselves from him because they don't want to have anything to do with him ever. And I respect that because fuck him. But yeah, he's a fucking asshole, and he's tangentially in the industry, right? Because it's like, what is the game industry? Is it the reviewers? Is it the content creators? Is it the game developers? He's tangentially in it. But anyways, he's a fucking asshole. Like I don't think I've ever seen like this much like sexual like disturbance like from like somebody in the industry. Like we've had like some guy accused of rape, or some guy did this, or some guy was being sexually inappropriate. Yeah, but then this is like, oh my god, like this is like real bad. Like
That's just it's the same as any other industry. It's someone with power abusing it.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it's
apparently rampantly.
Yeah. And it's just fucking needs to go away. Like this is exactly what they need to do. Is just he never fucking like he needs to get the justice he gets, and the women who he did this to need to get their justice, of course, as well. And he needs to fucking go away. Like he's not a part of this society anymore. Like fucking get out of my life, like that's good as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, anyways, very positive note to end the show on. Yeah, so video games, I guess I'll catch you guys later. I gotta go eat dinner with Michelle.
Yeah, I gotta make a phone call. But yeah, I gotta buy Crash Bandicoot. That's like my big takeaway today.
Yeah, do it. It's a blast. All right,
I'll
catch you guys later.
Later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.